Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Know Gimmicks. As usual, I'm the man of the hour, the man with the power, the hit maker, the record breaker. I got smiling grace and the loveliest face. I'll make your back crack, your liver quiver, and if you don't dig this mess, you at the wrong address. And fans out there listening all around the world, laughing and joking, the dream's still out front. Woo! Cooking and smoking. Copyright Dusty Rhodes when he went against Superstar Billy Graham at Madison Square Garden. Figure I'd whip it out good for y'all. And as always, with me, my tag team partner for life, my brother from another mother, the man with it all, the man with the plan, the one who's going to lay a smack down on your Rudy Poo. I'm not going to quote him because I'm still mad at DJ right now. But nonetheless, Brady.
What's up, man? How are you?
Man, if I was any finer, my name would be Brady. I'm wound so tight I could eat ball bearings and shit BBs right now. Okay. And that's because we are coming to everyone here post Royal Rumble 2025. Dude. And what a night.
What a show. What a show.
And again, maybe it's because we're together like we've talked about and we can discuss it as things are going on, but damn was I happy with tonight.
Yes.
And that just caps off, we still got a little bit of time tomorrow, but you've been here since Friday night. Yep. And again, it's early. Snapshot in time, folks. It's only 10:20 here on Central Time. So, we got plenty of this to do. It's going to be an interesting night. Brady may not get back home till Monday morning, but we'll see how it happens.
Well, yeah, and then the thing is, dude, when you start recording, it's almost midnight. The last 3 episodes.
Two, but yeah. Well, 3. If you're staying tuned, we got 1 in the can, and we showed some clips from it.
Yep. So.
But yeah, so this is great.
Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, hey, we can't forget our trusty Phil.
Phil, my man's.
What's up, dude? Oh, can't beat it, dude.
Womp womp.
So, funny about this is, Phil was waiting on Alexa, and lo and behold, there she came.
Yeah,
so,
spoilies for Rumble if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. So this is us wishing for Monday Night Raw, maybe?
At least Mania.
Mania?
At least Mania. We need... she doesn't need the build. I think she could have a Cody moment, but at the same time, let's give the people what they want. She's been advertised for Netflix.
Yes.
We see her, if you just kind of hover over the Netflix, you see the infographics. She's there.
Yeah.
Where the hell is she?
Right. Man, and tonight I honestly expected her to be 30. And when we got Nikki,
Boo.
Okay, I'm not...
Tell me she's not trying to chase down John.
Okay.
That's... We'll wrap into that.
Yeah.
Before we get to rambling too much, again, so for those of you tuning in, we thank you very much. No real special shout outs this week, but I will go ahead and say another listener, someone who's interested in us, my buddy Steve at work. You met him at Monday Night Raw when we went last October?
October 23.
Oh, God, dog, it's been
that long.
So to my boy Steve, thanks for following along, and especially tonight of all nights, yeet! So.
Oh, one more shout out.
Oh.
One more.
Oh, one more.
I think there's a salty individual, and it could be because a certain someone eliminated a certain someone.
I'm not going to say too much, not to borrow your line, but in living color, we witnessed
yes,
the tribal chief get yeeted
by the best in the world.
That's a stretch. I won't give that to him. But yes, again, another spoiler. CM Punk eliminated Roman Reigns. And God.
It was beautiful.
Chris, we love you. But fuck Roman Reigns. That's your friendly reminder. This is not for children. But nonetheless, if you're enjoying this, if you're just now tuning in, we welcome you. And again, real quick, just go and check us out on our socials. We're out on Facebook. We're on X. We're on Insta. We're on TikTok. And you're obviously joining us on YouTube at this point. So follow us. Look for Know Gimmicks. That's KNOW Gimmicks. Look for the microphone and the spotlight because the spotlight always shines brightest on those that, know a gimmick or two. So, with that being said, we're going to go rolls because we don't want to drag out too long. We got a lot to cover, big dog.
Yep, we do.
No real big top stories, or if they have, tonight's just kind of overshadowed them because most of the stories were Rumble leaks, returns, and things like that. And now that we know that they're not a thing post Royal Rumble, I was expecting number 31 entrant, the final boss. We were. Yeah. Thanks, Phil. So other than that, there is big stories out there, but I think it's worth noting that to our listeners, we are not ignorant, and we need to acknowledge that there are certain things that we are not going to cross the threshold on.
Yeah, for sure.
We are not scared to say the name Vince McMahon, Brock Lesnar, and things like that. However, that's not what we're here for. We're here to provide entertainment. We're here to give credit and review what's happened. We're going to let people live their personal lives to the best of our ability. If it doesn't revolve around the entertainment world, I don't think it's worth it.
No, man. And honestly, people can go and look that shit up on the internet. If they really want to know, like, we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, and again, right, I'm not here to drag nobody down. I'm here to have a good time. So, so here's to it. Let's get after it again.
All right, man.
So, kick it off with Monday Night Raw. Emanating from Atlanta, Georgia, and God, does that hurt my soul.
Man.
I live 35 minutes from that arena.
Yep.
And we're kicking ourselves in the ass for not going to Bad Blood last year.
We think about that, I mean, at least once a week, or I do. Like, come on, dude. That was such a good show.
It was a good show. So, PSA, from anyone not from Georgia, nobody from there calls it Hot Lanta. Nobody. We might say it jokingly, but that means we're making fun of all you people who actually call it that. So,
and they were talking about that on Monday Night Raw, right? They were calling it Hot Lanta.
Yeah, they called it Hot Lanta, and I just wanted to get like so.
Okay.
Monday Night Raw, we get Seth open it up, and my first note was no one calls it Hot Lanta or no one from Georgia or Atlanta calls it Hot Lanta because Cole and Pat were saying it. Seth comes out, not his strongest promo, but he gets the crowd involved. And he wants a vote on which title to go after. Gunther, or not the World Heavyweight Championship or Cody. Gunther comes out and interrupts. And just as things are getting good, Logan Paul comes out.
Yeah, and just kind of ruined the whole promo. The crowd was hot. They were so against.
I mean, massive boos.
Yeah, heat. And, I mean, that's what they're trying to achieve. I get that, but... God, man, nobody wants Logan Paul.
Yep.
Well, I can't say nobody.
So as much as I love my boy Steve Austin,
yeah.
In my mind, if the crowd hits you with the what chant, they don't want you.
Yeah.
And because it's not, at this point in 2025 now, if you're getting what's, that means the crowd's entertaining themselves. And I don't know how much I like that.
No, I agree.
And of course, Logan Paul declares for the Royal Rumble like we didn't know. So
God,
I mean,
and I hate to travel back to the Royal Rumble. We just talked about it, but when number 29 and number 30 were vacant, and I looked at you and I'm like, "Who's 29 and 30?" And then Logan Paul kicked out at 30. I was like, "Fuck, man!"
Yeah,
that was like I had completely forgot he even existed because I was having such a good time with all the star power in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
And then when 30 came out and it was him, I was like, pow.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so, and that kind of, and what gets me about that promo is both Gunther and Seth are like, this chump, right?
Yeah.
So again, to your point, I know that Logan's out there to get heat and he's doing that, but I don't know, again, I don't know if it's, and we had this talk last night as 30-plus-year-old, my back hurts, dudes who have been watching wrestling since we were kids. So we've been watching wrestling 25 to 30 years.
Dude,
grew up with it in the house, right?
Yeah.
So, it's hard for me to fall in love with the good versus bad guy now. I appreciate it and I see it and I recognize it, but when I look at Logan Paul, and maybe it's because I'm, a smart in some people's eyes and I just don't realize it. I don't think he got too much too fast. He hasn't done enough for the business. I respect the fact that he respects the business, but it's like he's had the U.S. title. He had a championship against Reigns. Like, bro, you didn't earn any of that. But at the same time, the business side of me on the other side, I guess the other business side is like, he's a household name, YouTube superstar. That's going to get that younger demographic. He's not there for me and you.
Oh, no, yeah, for sure. Like, my 11-year-old knew who Logan Paul was before he was in WWE. Right, and it's a thing, like, he showed up when, on the wrestling scene, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And my kid's like, ooh, that's Logan Paul. He's a famous YouTuber. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. Like, you got to credit him a little bit in his in-ring ability. He's damn good.
I'm not going to deny that.
He's damn good in the ring. But the character and just everything that he's doing, it's just not for me.
I mean, take away his high spots and like something in the like tonight in the Royal Rumble. He came out, hit a spot, and it's like, well, what else did he do?
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's the Royal Rumble. That's not fair, but if you take away these leaps, because he might not be able to do that in 10 to 15 years.
No,
and that's what the old school wrestlers talk about on these podcasts and these interviews nowadays is like their bodies aren't going to be able to keep up.
Yeah.
Enough about him. I'm not. Here's his flowers. I'm yanking them away. I'm bitch slapping them with them, and we're moving on from Logan Paul.
Got it.
So Punk ends up cutting a promo. Punk told Kathy he would throw her ass out of the Royal Rumble. Punk don't care. And then Sami Zayn just comes in there dropping some heat.
Oh my god!
And Sami reminds him only one of them has main evented WrestleMania.
It wasn't Punk.
It wasn't. Not sorry, Phil. Wasn't Phil Brooks? So,
that kind of made my heart hurt a little bit when he
man.
said that, but it's okay.
Yeah. Hey, truth's truth.
Yep.
And then Karrion Kross, right? Like Karrion Kross. I don't know what that sneaky bastard's up to, but I enjoy watching him. And then if you've never seen him like off camera, like with Chris Van Vliet and his Jesse Ventura impression, I think Karrion Kross is a hidden gem.
Yeah.
And he's just a subject of, I don't want to say his character's bad, right? But I think of Karrion Kross, if we didn't have The Miz as that utility player like we've discussed, I think Karrion Kross could fit that role.
Sure.
Nonetheless, Karrion Kross ends up talking with Sami, and then a Wild Cody appears. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
This transfer portal, maybe it's because it's the week before the Rumble, but I'm lost on who belongs where anymore.
Yep, for sure. I am too. Well, we talked about that whenever we were at Monday Night Raw. Like,
yeah.
What's going on? Anyway.
Well, in all fairness, that was because we got some dark matches, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we get to our first match, and it's the War Raiders versus JD and Dom for the tag team titles.
Whew. Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. That match.
I mean, let's just go ahead and address the forehead in the room.
Yeah.
JD McDonough with collapsed lung and broken ribs after hitting the table.
Dude, that table is stout.
Yeah.
There is no... For instance, you go back even 2 months ago, whenever you had just the regular old announce table, that bump, if he would have hit, the table would have shifted. Like, it would have... No doubt, it would have. This, dude, it's just like hitting a fucking concrete wall.
Yeah.
Wham.
And I mean... So when I first saw it, I thought he hit his head.
Yeah.
And then, like, I went to work the next day, and I was talking to my buddy Steve, who, again, shout out. He said something like, he's got to be concussed. And we pulled up a video and looked at it, and he hit, like you said, more towards the back. But even then, the whiplash, it's a miracle it didn't break his freaking neck.
I know. And the fact that he got up and finished the match.
Hey,
dude,
new respect level for JD
I know.
McDonough.
I honestly, whenever he did that, when I saw that bump, I was like, "Oh, this is bad."
Yeah.
But then when he got up and then finished,
yeah, because we were on the phone.
Yeah, we were.
We were talking on the phone when that happened.
Yep.
So we talked about the crazy moonsault. That blind ass power bomb into JD after he had hit the damn tape. JD's out there with a collapsed lung and broken ribs and still, like you said, just getting massacred.
Yep.
And of course, Carlito tries to help with the dirty win, but War Raiders end up retaining. So, here we go. I'm the heel this week. I'm just going to go ahead and eat that into the atmosphere. We've given the flowers to JD and Dom, but like, here's the thing. Had JD not been hurt, knowing what we know now, with hindsight being 2020, that match, just another.
It's just a mediocre.
Right. So again, that goes back into, I depending upon the situation, we're fortunate and unfortunate to have the internet and kayfabe being broke, but knowing what I know now, all right, give JD some more gold. We repay the man for what he's done.
For sure.
So, but all in all, again, not a bad opening match, especially coming out following that heat with some of those promos. And the go home show. Were you good, Phil?
You might need a drink,
man.
All right.
You drunk bastard. Lay back. Damn. Lightweight. Can't hold it, man. So, poor Phil. So, we go from that to New Day gets denied by Kaiser and Pete Dunne. How hated do you have to be for Kaiser and Pete Dunne?
Yeah.
Like to give you the shit look. You know what I'm saying?
Dude. Was it okay? I guess let's go back. Was it this week or last week when they had the match and Woods' family turned against him? Was that this week?
So that was this week.
Okay.
It's because it came out. So that turns us to the match. Good segue, buddy.
Okay.
Ray versus Xavier Woods. So Woodsy comes out and he's looking for his family, and seats reserved, which I've never freaking seen that.
Right.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, you might see them like reserved for VIPs, but when the shit starts, so way to go, gimmick that up.
Yeah.
So Woodsy's family and some rapper. I'm sorry. Stereotypical dumb redneck. Listen to the accent. Look at the camouflage. I don't know who the rapper was. I do apologize, being from south of Atlanta, but they all turn on him and they boo him and they pull off their jackets and shit. And New Day sucks shirts. Like, so that led to Ray winning. I don't know where this is going at this point. Like,
yeah.
So I see the build here, but what's the payoff going to be?
Yeah.
Like, I would love nothing more than this builds, and it's going to be the New Day against somebody with a mystery partner. And pause, fucking Trish. Sorry, we put Royal Rumble 2002, and my former future ex-wife Trish Stratus just came on the scene. God, I wish you wouldn't have got eliminated. Anyway, sorry, man. Easy trigger, easy.
Wait, what side is it on?
What side is it?
Oh, okay. We'll have to pull it down.
Yeah, we'll pull that down in a minute. My man Brady got me a hell of a Christmas gift. But yeah, so damn, she's got me distracted. So we, so Rey Mysterio. My point is, I would love to see like a mystery partner, and then by some miracle, it's Big E.
Yeah.
He's healed and ready to go. I don't want to keep my hopes up about it, but it's been so long. But the New Day were awesome heels.
Okay. Speaking of that, though, going back, the New Day weren't in the Royal Rumble. Kofi wasn't in the Rumble.
Kofi didn't get a high spot this year.
All right. Well,
commit to the bit, homie.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's hard. It's like what's left for Kofi to do? You know.
I mean, he's doing this heel run, which I mean, after this, I mean, maybe he can go and do another singles, or maybe he just goes part time. Maybe who knows? Man, he's won everything. He's been the IC champ. Correct.
Yep.
And then he's had the WWE Championship. I was there when he won it from Daniel Bryan. He's been tag team champ. Maybe US. Has he been US champion?
The one I'm worried about is Woodsy. Like,
oh man, yeah.
I ain't hating on Woodsy, but it's like
no, he's not going to be able to do anything on his own. Like it's unfortunate because he's a great guy. Like I've met him like in person. He was super super cool. Great with my kids, but at the end of the day, like he just doesn't have that it factor to be a single run.
I don't disagree with. I mean, they tried it with the King Woodsy thing, and again, because it's the New Day and because it's them and who they are, they made that bit work. They made that gimmick work, but then it's like, well, what has that done for them?
Well, and now they need to come out with a new heel theme song. I think we talked about that last week. But
they hate Big E, but they keep using him.
Yeah.
It's a new day. Yes, it is. Like, come on, man.
It's time.
Yeah, so, again, Ray picked up that win. Jey Uso comes down, and, he can't be normal. I love my mans. Has to cut a promo on the table. He can't get in the ring, which in my mind is better than standing in the audience. The only week they did that shit is when we were there. We couldn't get CM Punk, Karrion Kross.
Nobody.
No, Ludwig Kaiser in the ring. They did it. Like, God damn it, you mother.
I mean, the other thing in Dallas is they also didn't do the whole drone footage. Like,
we saw it.
We saw the drone, but there was no drone footage.
Well, they didn't show it inside, and I'll be honest, I didn't go back and watch.
Well, I didn't go back and watch either, but it would have been pretty obvious a drone flying around the crowd.
You say that, but if we're sucked in, man.
I don't think we were sucked in enough not to notice a fucking drone flying around the ring.
You say that, but
I guess
Bailey and Nia were whomping it on that week.
Yeah.
So after Jay comes out and does his thing, we get Liv and Raquel versus Bianca and Naomi.
Hey, what was okay, no wait, that was on SmackDown. I was about to do
Oh yeah, not yet. We'll get to that on SmackDown.
Okay.
Hey, again, it's so easy for me to say this, sitting in my kitchen, standing in front of you, hanging out with my boy Phil. I still don't like Naomi. I don't hate her. I have no animosity towards Naomi.
Yeah.
But I think she outpaces herself. I think every time she tries to expand, it's not well rehearsed or communicated, and it looks bad. I think she wants... I don't know. It's hard to describe, right? I don't know if she's doing too much or if she's not doing enough. It's like when she tries to do more, she's doing less. When she wants to do less, she's doing more. And it's like she's stuck fighting it. And I want her to succeed. I want her to go forth and do great things. But it's like, you can only put your ass in somebody's face so many times.
Yep.
And in this tag team run, right, like her entrance is gone now. And that was like one of the most entertaining things. Like when we went to WrestleMania and we had the glow sticks, and so they took that away from her. So now it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So no ill and hate, because I think she has the ability to make the change like she did before. And maybe that's part of it too, is that the glow aesthetic and character has gone stale. I still say she's the one who yeeted Jade into the windshield. And I think if she turns heel, she might catch something.
Yeah, and that's possible. And dude, she may, skyrocket from there.
Yep.
Who knows? But it was interesting to see that Jade was in the Rumble as well, in the women's.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I said earlier, I think Jade's going to come back and yeet Naomi. So, and again, that may be part of the build going up. And I don't know that Jade's going to come back and do it while her and Bianca still have the titles. Right. Maybe post that.
Sure.
But yeah, so again, standard data match. Everything went exactly as you expected. Liv's the dirty heel, doing heel things. Raquel steps in, makes saves for Liv when she needs to. Raquel showing off her strength, especially against someone like Bianca. Always impressive. Old Dirty Sanchez Dom comes out with his greasy mustache and hair and interferes. And that obviously leads to Liv and Raquel getting the win.
Yep.
So, again, standard data. Not mad, not upset, but Bianca needs to stop carrying that team. And then a wild wise man appears. Paul Heyman comes out.
Yep.
And then he talks about Roman being on the cover 2K25, which I'm buying. I will purposely pay extra to buy the Dead Man edition and not have Roman's face in my house. Just saying it straight up front. Again, nothing against Roman. I don't like the way he was booked. I don't like the way that title reign went. We could do a whole podcast on why I don't like Roman Reigns. But again, I cannot deny he drew money. I can't deny that I tuned in to watch him lose, even though he never did it. And I cannot deny that SmackDown got better once he came back. But guess what? Going part-time again. Disappearing as usual.
Yep.
So I hope he lost his money. I hope he goes bankrupt.
Well, tonight I honestly didn't expect Roman to get thrown out in the same way as he did. So,
hold on, I'm still eating that up.
Yeah, I'm fucking ecstatic the way that Roman was eliminated. Like right. It healed my heart to see.
I mean, it didn't heal my heart, but God, was it great. It was great.
It was everything I needed, and I told you, I need Punk to eliminate Roman. I need that to happen. And
I wonder why.
And it 100% happened, and it was great. Regardless of what happened after, I was happy. So anyway.
So Drew comes out, and Drew gets in Paul Heyman's face a little bit, says his thing. So, hey man, you can say what you want about Drew McIntyre, because I know you love him, because you clearly wore his shirt and wore his...
and his belt plates.
And his belt plates to Monday Night Raw. There's photographic and video evidence of that. So if he ever tries to deny it, don't let him.
You won't find it on any of our socials. Don't worry. You're going to have to dig deeper.
Well, is that a challenge?
Okay. So during that promo...
Oh, okay, yeah. Continuing on, yeah.
During that promo...
Way to keep us on task, you fuck.
Yep. While Drew was talking to Heyman, it's a situation where I honestly expected Roman to show up to protect his wise man, or
Why would he?
well, why wouldn't he?
Because he's Roman Reigns.
I expected something. I expected
We're not good enough to get him on Monday Night Raw.
I don't know, man.
It's not the Netflix debut. He's
Yeah.
at home. Punk.
We didn't get Punk either.
I mean, we had a promo.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about during that little segment.
Yeah.
Nobody's out there protecting the wise man.
I mean, Paul. Hey, man, you better watch Paul. He's a threat. So that turns. We get Drew versus Sammy.
Yep.
So, without going into the match, because Drew versus Sammy will, they'll pay the bills every time. Drew got a dirty win, but then what happens after that dirty win? A fucking commercial break, bro.
Yep.
Or an advertisement, whatever you want to call it, on Netflix. How many people turn that off right there?
I did almost. I was like,
What just happened?
yeah, and we were on the phone.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
what is going
I'm
on?
like, is Monday Night Raw over? Because if so, I'm gonna, flip this channel. And there was no credit scenes, and it just would. I mean, honestly, that would have been the end of the show. But then, wait a minute, I feel like we're missing something. We're not. Did Cody not come out first before that commercial break?
Hold on, let me refer to the notes here.
I'm pretty certain he did because Cody was laying in the ring, and we're like, what's going on? And then we come back from commercial, and then Cody's still sitting in the ring.
Nope, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So I guess I'm ahead of myself
As usual. So no.
He's the note taker. Yeah. I just need to shut up.
Well, so that's gonna. That's gonna make me circle back around to something here in a second. So Drew gets the dirty win. This random ad happens. They come back live, and Drew's whomping on Sammy. And then here comes Cody. Well, then here comes KO. KO jumps Cody. And then, lo and behold, Sammy accidentally kicks Cody.
That's right.
So that's where, KO's like, oh, yay. Because, KO and Sammy are best friends, and KO's able to make the dirty heel getaway. So this turns to a Cody Rhodes promo where he's, like you said, on the ground doing his thing, recovering and all that. And then that's when your boy Punk comes out.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yep.
And honestly, he comes out to the weirdest promo. Like, that whole situation.
So, I mean, I don't want to call it weird, right? Because, and what I have it written down here, Punk comes out and he dresses, he's worried about Cody. And Punk says, I see in you what happened to me. The immense amount of pressure.
You're burning out.
Yep. The burnout, making it real. And then Punk turns around and calls his shot against Cody when he wins the Royal Rumble. So coming back to that point I wanted to make, because we don't know how long Raw lasts anymore, there's no time limit. We can't look at the clock and know and estimate these things until we see produced by Paul Levesque and whoever the other producer wants to be that week, because I think it changes. I don't like that ending personally. And I will go to say that this is the first miss of a Monday Night Raw since it went to Netflix. Again, I'm not going to call it a swing and a miss, but how we have essentially drugged SmackDown since we started this podcast. Raw got danger close to getting drugged this week.
And it wasn't just by us. Like, there was a lot of people on X not truly understanding what was going on. But, what do you do?
I mean, I'm not... Again, I can't say I'm upset, but I don't like when I am unintentionally left confused.
Right.
If WWE wants me to be confused, I'm okay with it. Like, especially back when Bray Wyatt was doing it, there was weeks we were just like,
yeah,
if I have that moment where it feels like I want to crack my skull open, pull my brain out and scratch it, I'm good. But when it's just like, it's sloppy. And again, as a 30-year-old man, you know, if I was a kid, right, like I wouldn't care as much. But as someone who's watched it, you know, I'd be lying. You know, and again, we're watching Royal Rumble 2002, and it's now the Ric Flair versus Vince McMahon street fight. And if Vince McMahon watched that episode of Raw, I mean, he pulled out all of his hair.
Yeah, 100%.
That at that ending, he was. And again, I'm not saying that's right or wrong on WWE's part, but I don't think that was a win by any means.
They all can't be winners, obviously.
Sure.
But I just think the way that commercial break landed and kind of just separated that promo.
Sure.
I think that's just where the miss was, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think, again, it just happened in the wrong moment, and it probably threw Cody off. It threw off Punk. Like, it just wasn't.
Yeah, and I don't. Again, I'm not going to drag it, but I hope that it never happens that way again.
No, I'm pretty certain that they learned. Hey, let's not bone that up again. Like that's just the truth. But yeah. Anyway, that pretty well wraps up Raw. Like I said, left Raw kind of irritated a little, and
especially for the final Raw before Rumble.
Yeah, and then we just honestly closed it out and hadn't really talked much, and then SmackDown. So
yeah, I mean, you know, personally, you know, without releasing too much, it was just a busy week for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, you had your work stuff and a PSA, the Know Gimmicks PSA. Wash your fucking hands. I'm not a fearmonger. I'm not telling you that I'm scared of germs, but my wife's an educator. He's got youngins. If they're closing schools because people are sick, keep your sick ass home.
Yep. 100%. Germex, Dial soap. I don't give a fuck.
Yep, Germex Dial soap. Drink you some Airborne. Eat the chewables. You know, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, brother. You know, but I mean,
yeah.
I
mean, honestly,
dusty ass.
This trip almost got wrecked because you know, like we were that close from not making this happen.
Yeah, we would have been video remote again, which I mean, we're still going to try and provide the entertainment, but nonetheless, there's your No Gimmicks PSA of the week.
Just do what's right for your family.
Check and yourself.
And yourself.
So, again, moving to SmackDown, January 31st in Indy.
Yeah.
And
I was actually live here with JT. We watched it together.
You got here late.
Right.
But I had it paused and we watched it, together. So that was fun.
It was fun. A damn good night last night watching SmackDown, you know. Anyway.
Dude, my neighbors hate me because I had that sound bar cranked even tonight.
It was great, you know.
So, you know what I like about this SmackDown? For no reason other than the fact Michael Cole opened SmackDown at the appropriately named Okerlund position.
Yep.
And when they showed the crew, it said Michael Cole, Pat McAfee at Okerlund.
Yeah, yep.
I love that.
Yes.
So, again, Michael Cole introduces Pat McAfee. Pat hypes up Indy and talks about he's been begging to get over there for Lucas Oil and major events. So they got a SmackDown and a Royal Rumble. Good for that city.
And they were talking, not last night, but they've been talking about WrestleMania actually going to Lucas.
Yeah. And after that crowd tonight,
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yep.
So.
So Pat hypes everybody up, turns over to Joe Tessitore in the ring. And God, Kevin Owens comes out for this interview and it just like verbally assaults poor Joe Tessitore, right? Like he's just a sports commentator. He wasn't homegrown in WWE. He has other commitments with other agencies. And so to watch Joe to try and act, which he did well, I'm not hating on him, but you can't put someone like Joe, who's I don't want to call him JV, but not used to that environment, and somebody like there with KO who's just off the rails. Because, God, KO is so good at talking.
Yeah, and Joe was like, I'm 53 years old, dude. I'm just a 53-year-old sports broadcaster.
It makes me wonder, did Joe know that KO was just about to just, like, tear his ass up?
I mean, I'm sure he had an idea, but I don't think he understood the level that he was going to be dialed up to.
So if KO does his typical, like, spoiled brat-ish, like angry kid rant.
Yeah.
And then he takes the wing eagle belt off, and it's like, well, that fucking ruined everything.
Yeah.
You know, like
I'm taking this back.
like, and we'll come back to that. So, because I got another point about that if I don't forget. So Kevin Owens takes the wing eagle belt, and then, to your surprise,
The static hit, dude.
made me gag. But the static hits, and here comes CM Punk. Again, a wild CM Punk appears, and I didn't expect it, and because I had it on as I was waiting for Brady to appear, so I was outside lighting a grill, starting to get supper ready, and I just had it on, and I would rewind it. But then as soon as the static hit, I was like, I gotta pause this because I can't know. But I did that, and I was watching you when that static hit, and you were sitting in that chair, and you're just.
All right, well, let's go.
You know,
I mean, you don't expect Punk on SmackDown,
right?
So
So that was good. The holy shit chants, which not on Netflix, so they're censored.
Yeah.
Holy. So I still think that's funny. And Kevin Owens tells him that he loves the thought of Punk not main eventing a WrestleMania because Kevin Owens is main evented a WrestleMania.
Yep.
I mean, KO, Cody, Roman,
fucking Sammy,
Stone Cold, Sammy, Undertaker. I mean, seems like the who's who of WWE have main evented WrestleMania.
Yeah, we have the Elimination Chamber.
So CM Punk is still not the who's who of the company because he is not main evented WrestleMania. His biggest Mania moment is losing the Undertaker.
That's a damn good moment, though.
To lose?
Fuck yeah. Main event. Okay. Regardless of what anyone says, if you're in a WrestleMania match with the Undertaker, especially during his,
That's fair. But
okay, like
I mean,
you gotta be somebody. Okay.
Anyway, take your hat off. Gross.
I love that. It makes me feel so good.
But yeah, so that happened, and then Punk just proceeds. He's like, "Okay, you want to go there?" And Punk just roasts the man.
Yeah.
Again, hats off to Punk. I love listening to him talk. As much as I love getting on you about him and hating on CM Punk.
Dude, the man can talk.
Yeah, God, when he flames somebody, I mean, it's scorched earth.
Yeah. I
forgot what he said. I literally just wrote, Punk roasted the fuck out of Kevin Owens and walks away.
Yeah.
So,
just go back and watch it. It was great.
Anytime Punk picks up a microphone, he gets the world's attention.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, it is what it is. Ain't what it ain't. But this leads us to the Miz backstage with Nick Aldis. Miz is running the utility player. Like, whether you hate him, love him, or don't care about him, the Miz is a mainstay. He's mid-card Undertaker. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not sorry. Like, the Miz is Mr. Reliable. He's been there through thick and thin, good and bad. He's never wavered. Jesus Christ, the man's house burnt down in L.A.
And he's showing up.
Not to bring the personal shit. Like I said, we try not to. But he's still showing up to pay the bills and do what he has to do. And I commend him. So he's talking smack, and somehow Andrade gets brought up, and he starts trashing him. Then hits it with the classic cartoon. He's standing right behind me, isn't he? And Nick Aldis hits him with the So that announces and sets us up for Andrade versus Miz. And then another interesting match we get is Big Jimmy Uso versus Carmelo. And Jimmy's kind of doing the Jay thing where he's getting, and Jacob is too. So it's like, I guess you got to be Samoan to get this treatment where you talk to the camera as you're walking out.
Yeah.
But in the background, Shinsuke Nakamura
He's just hanging out, man.
and he did it all night.
Yeah.
So
Just lurking.
I mean, I love the hidden shit, but Shinsuke, you fucking weirdo.
What are you doing?
You Diddy looking bitch. Like,
oh, God.
Epstein Island motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah. Again, no real significant notes. The match paid the bills, man.
Yep.
It kept me engaged. I wasn't sucked in, but I wasn't drawn to pick up my phone. I wasn't drawn to go to the kitchen and get a snack out of boredom, hunger. It paid, like I said, paid the bills. I found it interesting that Carmelo went for the dirty pin, but Jimmy out-dirties him.
Yeah.
Very unique, and I think that fits Jimmy very well, coming from that heel, sliding back into babyface. don't forget where you came from sort of aspect. So I buy that. I wouldn't mind seeing a little more program with them.
Well, now that, just out of curiosity, now that Jay has won the Royal Rumble, do you think there's going to be any animosity between Jimmy and Jay at this point going forward, or do you think Jimmy's going to be like, oh yeah, hell yeah, let's go? What's your opinion on that?
So as we sit in this moment in time, they're on different shows. Listening to the post show and all that, it sounds like Jay's going to stick with Raw. Mm-hmm. Sounds like he's interested in Gunther.
Yeah.
And I think that's a smart move instead of having a face versus face. I don't know that I need another Jay and Jimmy feud, and if we do, we don't need it right now. I'll say that, and we talked about this tonight, for what it's worth, due to injury, write-off, or whatever it was, I'm not sure the exact reason, Jimmy is 8 to 14 months, depending upon how you pick it, behind Jay. So I'm curious if, again, we got, and again, total surprise to me, never would have called that, Jay winning the Royal Rumble. Who's to say in 8 months, right? So it's what, January, 8 months is September.
SummerSlam.
Well, so just post SummerSlam, heading towards Survivor Series, we couldn't get another brother versus brother situation. It would take some tweaking. Or even, what if we get the Wild Shock and now we have the first ever only brothers to win the Royal Rumble and Jimmy wins the Rumble next year if he catches fire and does his thing.
Right.
I'm not saying they would face each other, but what an accomplishment for the Samoan dynasty.
Yeah.
Again, you can't, just when you think you can't highlight that family anymore, first ever brothers to win.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
and I can see that happening.
It's not out of the question.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that, what is my favorite WWE production of and I don't mean like for shows, I don't mean stage setups, but like my favorite video package from WWE, and I have no idea why. Maybe it's because I'm married to a math teacher, but they finally unveiled the Royal Rumble by the numbers.
Yeah. For
some reason, every year that shit sucks me in. The total amount of time, the number of winners, percentages, and it's just, maybe I'm a nerd at heart, obviously, because I like wrestling, but maybe I'm like a true nerd and a geek, maybe, and I just love seeing the numbers. But it pissed me off they didn't mention the only man to win it 3 times, Stone Cold Steve Austin, in case you want to keep a track. That's my man's. But
are you sure? I thought they did mention that.
I don't remember seeing it.
Because remember I said, did he win 3 in a row?
No, he was mentioned winning 2 in a row.
Right.
But normally he gets a shout out and it shows like a small package of Stone Cold with his 3 wins.
Yeah.
So apologies for the interruption, difficulties as we learn this, but yeah. So we're taking advantage of the break. So we're going to do the normal dirty thing. I'm going to sit here and talk to you awkwardly until Brady comes back, and then I'm going to go get another beverage. But as I was saying, right, Stone Cold being my favorite. As you can see, this is in my living room and kitchen, so you can see how much I love it. But I think this is a great opportunity to show you my Christmas gift from Brady. My man's came through. So as I mentioned earlier, my former future ex-wife, and my wife's over there, and she's going to murder me, Trish Stratus, to show you what kind of awesome friend and brother Brady is. He got me a signed Trish Stratus 2025 calendar that I'm going to cherish forever. This is the best look you're all going to get. You have to buy this calendar. Cheap plug. Trish, if for some reason you ever find this, please come on the podcast. We love you. But again, I can't talk about Brady enough how awesome that was. So back to Royal Rumble by the numbers. Just, some of the quick stats, like we said, going into it. Cody Rhodes was looking to become the only other person to win a Royal Rumble 3 times. There have only been 3 to win it back-to-back. Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, and Cody Rhodes. Only 26.2 of all participants have gone on to WrestleMania. And I don't know why that tickles the fancy so much, but it's one of those things like when you start reading the numbers on that, and I wish WWE would do this for other things, it's really astounding when you think about it. Like 30 men and now 30 women, and except for the 1 year, the greatest Royal Rumble where they bumped the number up. You get to see a lot of star power, and I'm sure Brady and I will end up talking about how tonight's Royal Rumble was probably one of the most star-studded Royal Rumbles in a long time. Not so much, hindsight's 2020. When you go back and watch some of these Royal Rumbles and you see big names like Hogan, Duggan, Warrior, Honky Tonk Man, you go back to Attitude Era and you see Rock, Austin, Triple H. At the time you were watching it, you didn't realize what you were watching. But going into this and watching the impressive performances or the way they organized the entrance to get Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu. This Royal Rumble was one of the best to tell the story in a long time. And we'll cover that some more here shortly. So while we're still waiting for Brady crating his stuff out, you're going to notice a slight glitch in the system because somebody else needs a bigger drink.
We're back. Sorry for the delay, technical difficulty, but we're here. We got refreshed drinks.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna pick it up.
All right, back to where we were. So again, coming off that my favorite thing about the Royal Rumble, that package, we get Chelsea Green versus Mi Chen for the women's U.S. title. Let me tell you, it might be a hot take. That was match of the night.
100%. That's not a hot take. That's fact. Like, straight up, that match did everything it needed to do. And
so again, going back to we've been dragging SmackDown.
Yeah.
And then this week, Raw kind of missed. I will tell you right now that Chelsea Green versus Mi Chen was match of the week.
Yeah.
Just excluding gimmick match Royal Rumble and high spots of that, like Monday to Friday of the week, that would get, if we gave awards, that would get match of the week right there.
100%.
And the sad part is like normally like I try and take some notes about things I like, but I was sucked in, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have here that Chelsea Green ends up getting the kendo stick and hitting Mi Chen for so Mi Chen wins.
Yeah.
Was disqualification champion's
so no
advantage.
title champ.
Yeah, but God, man, I was in it to win it on that one.
Yep.
Now then Mi Chen ends up getting that kendo stick back. And you want to talk about one? I mean, she slapped the jack out. I mean, right across the back. It doesn't get a much more solid hit than that. That shit bruised and welted like that.
No doubt.
I want that. And the sad part about that for me is, I wish that was the standard for every match, obviously, but it's very rare we get a women's match of that caliber. But that was for the Women's United States Championship. If you're going to have that type of match, that is exactly what that belt is supposed to do.
Yep.
And regardless, and I'll be honest with you, I've never been a Chelsea Green fan. I'm now seeing and discovering some of her work, like when she faced off against Penta. She's growing on me. I hate her because she's good at what she does, and that's what I'm supposed to do. But very, very surprised to see Mi Chen all of a sudden get that. I'm telling you here, right now, put it on the books. If we can get Mi Chen to have those matches once a month, and I'm not just strictly talking match of the week, match of the night, just that kind of quality match once a month out of Mi Chen, she'll be a women's champion.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Mi Chen's great. And I think that she has championship qualities. We just got to get her there.
And again, right? It's something we kind of talked about with Jacob Fatu and Strowman. We may mention a Strowman and Big Show. You have to have those opponents. Bayley and Nia, when we were at Raw. I mean,
that was match of the night.
It really is, and I think we're seeing it now more in the modern era of they're starting to pair the right duos together.
Yeah, for sure.
That I've heard and read a million times from wrestlers, legends of the past, that a good wrestler can get in the ring with a broomstick and make it look like the broomstick's winning. But now I think in 2025, I don't think that cuts the mustard anymore. I think it's getting to the point now where we've become so desensitized with good storytelling that when we turn to these good matches, we can't have a great wrestler with a broomstick.
Yeah.
We need, at minimum, good and good. Gone are the days of somebody carrying somebody and getting a good result. Especially, and I don't know if that's with NXT and TNA and AEW, but now it's like, even looking back right now, we're getting The Rock and Jericho from 2002, and it wasn't appreciated at the time, and I can tell you that because I was there, and I was sour because Jericho did my boy Stone Cold dirty. But I think this may be a problem in the future, is that it keeps stepping up.
Yep.
We're going to hit that decline like we did post invasion, ruthless aggression.
Everything that goes up comes down. Like that's just the truth.
Sure.
So it's a situation where you've got tonight a Royal Rumble. They counted 70,000 plus people there. I've been to a Royal Rumble where there's 30,000 people there.
Phillips Arena was only 18,000 people in 2002.
Right. So at the end of the day, like, what are you going to do to continue to fill these stadiums? It's just going to have to keep going.
Sure.
So,
I mean, again, right? And again, it's hard. I think we'll say, you know what? I'll save that topic for the future, talking about the evolution. But nonetheless, again, give the flowers, give the match of the week to me, Chen, and Chelsea Green. Now, Brady, can I get a little personal with you?
Yep.
Dear listeners and viewers, allow me to open my heart. All right. Fuck loud ass goddamn advertisements when I'm watching a fucking program.
Oh my god, dude.
Bro.
You nailed it, because you're sitting here watching SmackDown and it goes to commercial break and it just fucking blows your goddamn eardrums.
So again, right? My wife's here. Megan's here. My dogs are here. But at the same time, it's like bros are doing bro things. And I have, in my mind, a really nice sound setup. Maybe it's not the greatest, but I paid good money for it, and I like it. And I don't get to let it flex its muscles, but it's just like, you know what? Brady's here. It's me and him. We're rocking out. And I cranked this. It wasn't max, but I cranked it up. So we're watching wrestling, and it sounds like we're there in the crowd.
Yeah, it does.
And then it goes to commercial break, and all of a sudden, we get the State Farm, jingle, or we get the Cricket Wireless nerds, Muppet wannabes screaming. I mean, I've seen AC/DC live, and my ears rang for 3 days after. That's what I felt like listening to these fucking commercials. Dear God, WWE, producers, Netflix, USA, cable, whatever you fucking have, stop letting these advertisers make their damn volume 800 decibels above what normal listening tone is. Please. Thank you. I'm off my box.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry.
No. Hey, man, we talked about that last night, too. It nailed it. They need to figure that the fuck out. Like that.
It's horrible.
It is. Yep.
And, I'm not going to give them their moment. Fuck them kids. Anyway, so we come back from that loud-ass advertisement. We get a Damien promo. Damien's out there cutting it up, and again, he's already gotten his flowers, rise from nothing to something. But in my mind, someone who, if they keep on, is going to climb that ladder quick, fast, interrupted by Jacob Fatu and
Yes.
Tamatonga, my man's. Damn if Jacob ain't spitting some fire.
Dude, Jacob he's on one. Like straight up.
That accent and dialect.
Yeah.
And you, for me, like, again, you're supposed to hate him, but that cadence and that rhythm, hell, you ain't it. Like, I mean, I'm like, tell them, man. Tell them. So he comes up there spitting fire. And then my man Damien, he's just like, well, I'm not letting the numbers game get me. Super kicks Tama Tonga, and it's just like all in Jacob's face, like, let's go. And then they start scrapping. Now the numbers game does catch up, but my boy L.A. Knight, he comes in and he makes a save, and that sets us up for the tag match for the night. Not mad about that. I can't be mad. Damian Priest has proved it. He gets my attention. I love LA Knight. Always have. I don't give a damn what anyone says, whether he's impersonating or stealing the Stone Cold and Rock's Thunder, or he's a dirty. You know what? Fuck you. I steal their shit all the time.
Yeah.
Even like, and I'll tell you right now, my hand gestures I do, I learned them from watching Stone Cold do a podcast, and this is all I know because this is what I saw him do.
Yeah.
You know, it's supposed to be flattering. It's supposed to be a compliment. And if that's what LA Knight's doing, well, damn it, you keep doing it because you have my attention.
I mean, he does, and that's the other thing. It's like, regardless if he's imitating or using whoever else's gimmicks, it doesn't matter because it's working for him, and that's roll with it, dude. Like,
send it. I'm not mad.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about this, and I hope it's done, and it should be. This leads us to the 8-man tag.
God, we talked about that last night.
There's no room for a 6 to 8-man tag. Shout out to Teddy Long. We got us a tag match, player. It's done for a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it's done. And I think that this just shows it because we had DIY and Pretty Deadly, whom I'm not a super fan of. And you're supposed to be that way, but versus Motor City Machine Guns and Los Garza.
Yeah.
Los Garza representing. I don't know how you have a team at a team inside of a teamception, but you know what? Y'all have it.
I think I talked about this last night during the match. If I was there live, that would have been my moment to
go take a leak, go get a drink, go get something to eat,
Yeah.
go check out the souvenir stand. And the sad part is we knew that. And again, I don't want to. Once again, the Motor City Machine Guns, I think, really carried that match. Now, again, DIY does their part, but that goes back to what I was just saying earlier, right? Like, it's getting hard to settle. In this match, you have a great team and a great team, and I hate to say it, but the truth is, you got a broomstick on either side.
Yeah.
And we got some moments where it was broomstick against broomstick. Again, real easy for me to say as someone sitting on my couch watching them.
No.
They're getting, but again, it was easily to get distracted with you here and a phone beside me.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing, as we're in 2025 with the ability to have entertainment and instant gratification at our fingertips. Even if you hadn't been here, I'd have been distracted. But especially since you were here, we spent more time looking at each other, talking about why that is or why we don't like it than we did actually watching the match.
Cutting up and having fun, and on our own pace versus, anyway.
And then, and just to show you, like, I'm not saying the match drug, but there was more commercial. I made a note of it, right? Like, I think this was the first and only time during the match, because there was so much that they were trying to put in, there was 2 of those side-by-side commercial ad breaks.
Yeah.
Which, again, fucking volume's way up here. And I literally wrote, it's a mess. Like, there were spots that didn't need to be spots. There were spots that should have been spots that weren't spots. And again, to watch a crew, had it not been for the Motor City Machine Guns, I don't know that I'd have watched it.
Yeah.
God forbid, and if it would have just straight up been Pretty Deadly versus Los Garza again, I'd have been snoozing.
Yeah.
I would have, like you said, taken full advantage of that to go take a dump. Sorry, guys. And I know they're great. Again, that's don't get it twisted. Like, never once am I going to hate on somebody on this podcast other than CM Punk.
Did we not just go through? All right.
Something I found funny during that match as I'm watching it, you could hear like a group of like 10 people try to get the "this is awesome," and I mean it just
fell flat. Dead.
because everyone had, and you could watch the crowd. They got up, they got up and left, or went to do whatever they had to do. And I'll tell you, it's not a big a problem anymore. But I remember I was a very avid smoker, and you know that. Like you said, that would have been my chance to, in 20, even. God, when did they ban smoke? Whenever they banned smoking indoors, right? Like, even when I went to WrestleMania in 2011, you couldn't smoke indoors. But they had designated smoking areas outside. But you walk up the stairs, go up, walk halfway around the arena, and go out and smoke. I mean, that.
Funny story to segue just for just a few seconds. So, me and Chris and our buddy Jeremy.
Oh, you mean the guy who is so happy that Roman Reigns got eliminated by CM Punk? Oh, sorry, keep going.
That Chris, yeah. Anyway, we had this buddy that worked with us at the time, and we all had bought tickets to go to Great Balls of Fire in Dallas.
Whoa, the greatest pay-per-view of all time.
The greatest. And funny enough, that was actually, I think we've talked about this, it was my very first pay-per-view that I got to attend live. So, yay for me. Anyway, funny story about that situation was our buddy, about 10 minutes into the show, got up, and I can't remember the opening bout, but I remember it was 10 minutes in, like straight up. The show had just started. He's like, I'm going to go smoke. We're like, all right. That dumb son of a bitch walked to the front of the American Airlines Center and walked out the door. And started smoking, and then never got let back in.
What?
Yeah.
You never told me that.
Yeah.
Bro, I'd have been, how do you not, what?
So, we were all just kind of looking for him, and we're like, where the hell did he go? And then turns out, he got lost outside of the American Airlines Center.
How?
He was like, I walked out here to go smoke, and they wouldn't let me back in.
I've only been in the arena twice. How do you get,
I don't know, dude. I have no idea.
When this gets turned off, we're going to talk about this, because I need the deets on this. That's dirty.
When the game, or the show was over, we left, and then it took us like 45 minutes to find him, because I drove from my town to Dallas, and it was all four of us in the truck, and we had to locate him. Dude, it was like a $200 ticket to that show, because we were right, like the floor, we were right on that first little riser, and he locked himself out of the building 10 minutes in it. It's like,
that's horrible. Wow. All right, folks. Again,
just to smoke,
another No Gimmicks PSA. If for whatever reason you have to exit the arena during a live event, please check with staff and security for ways to exit and re-enter.
American Airlines Center has a dedicated smoke area.
Right outside what used to be the Jack Daniels Lounge.
Which is now the Mick Ultra Lounge. Anyway, so you could go smoke out there and get right back in. And then
you never leave.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he just fucking pranced on out the front door like it was...
Hey, commit to the bit, baby.
Yeah.
So... I don't remember another note that I just saw. We need to have a talk with Wade Barrett. My man's. I don't know what his citizenship status is.
Yeah.
Now, I, for one, don't care, because I think it's funny. But this is a PG show. So you shouldn't say, I don't think you should, and I quote, my loins are tingling.
How many times did he say loins and girth during the Royal Rumble?
Bro, I mean, I thought it was bad with the big meaty men slapping meat, which was a Big E thing, and then he took it. But, fucking Vince McMahon, grapefruits, testicular fortitude. Barrett's bringing that shit back.
I know.
Wade, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. You're going to get canceled like I am, bro.
Hey, based on what you said last week, we're not canceled yet. So, yeah, I think we passed.
And spoiler, none of my predictions happened. I guess Katie Vick's actually dead.
Oh, yeah, well.
Can I say that name on this podcast?
Well, you did last week, so I guess.
It's 2 in a row.
Yeah.
We're going to get a tracker at the bottom. I want you to put it in here when you're editing it.
Katie Vick.
Katie Vick. How many
Vick.
weeks since Katie Vick?
Jeez.
We're bringing that back.
Yeah.
Poor mayor of Knox County. So anyway, that turns into Tyrese Halliburton, NBA star. Not my cup of tea, but he joins Cole and McAfee again at Okerlund, and they say we're sending it to them at Okerlund. I can't get that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
We now have Gorilla at Okerlund. Geez, the only thing that'd be better is if they named ringside Ross and Lawler or something like that, but that's going to get named the coal mine. That we know that's going to happen.
Yeah,
in 20 years. So,
here's the deal, man. Regardless of what you think of Cole,
I love him,
and with Pat right beside him, dude, it's just opened up a whole new world for the common.
The fat boy Yeet.
Yeah, dude, it's
fucking having a heart attack.
Get your ass up here. Anyway, go ahead.
So now we'll bring it up because you wanted to mention earlier. We get Naomi versus Liv. Again, I've said my piece about Naomi. Now, you put her with Liv, not bad. But it was like 2 minutes into the match. I'm on the couch and Brady is sitting in his chair with his feet propped up right here.
This is the Brady position.
The Brady.
Right here.
We're sending it over to the Brady position. And we're watching this match, and Liv grabs a headlock, and I see her reach up, and I was like, and Brady was talking, and he just sees the stupid look on my face, and I was like, she just give her a noogie? He's like, what? I was like, tell me, Booker T style, tell me. She didn't just give her a random noogie, to the point where we aren't live anyway, so I rewind it. And sure as shit, fucking Liv gives her the fucking noogie, like, God.
I'm like, what is going on, dude?
What a heel.
Yeah.
Good for you, Liv. And again, so Naomi, part of her moves, her set, she grabs Liv, so she goes into the corner, grabs the ropes, kicks back, and puts her legs on Liv like this, so her feet are down. She pulls Liv into her ass and just wiggles her ass like like an air stink face. You know what? Okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna send that. Fucking Wade Barrett comes in. Naomi's using all of her assets. My brother. You know what? I'll allow it. I'm not mad. I don't know. Maybe hiding a little adult humor in there so the kids don't hear it in the PG stuff. But
I mean,
that one again, semi dad joke. High five to you, guy. But again, no notes. Naomi wins. I've said my piece. Liv tried. It was okay. But then that turns to Raquel and Liv start whooping up on Naomi and Bianca. And I was waiting for some sort of run-in or something else, but nope. Raquel just kind of showed her dominance. I'd be down for Raquel and Bianca because Bianca, God, what an athlete, right?
Dude, but she needs to separate herself. Like, she's got to get back to that single.
Yeah, and we talked about that too while you were here. This quirky Bianca, while I don't mind it, I miss that driven to the point, good style baby face.
I want her chasing the title. Like, I know she doesn't necessarily have to be in the title picture.
The Rock just rock bottomed a referee. I love it.
Oh, Nick Patrick. She doesn't have to be in the title picture, but she needs to be actively chasing the title picture.
Bianca is one of those rare ones in all of wrestling that is just as good chasing a title as she is defending the title.
100%.
Originally, I think it was good that we had Bianca to help elevate the tag titles, but I do think it's run its course. And the word I'm going to use is unfortunately, but I don't think that's the right word. And being a dumb redneck from Georgia, and especially after drinking, goddamn, we've been drinking for hours. Somebody made me drink a half bottle of Gentleman Jack today.
You can't blame that on me.
And by today, I mean in the past 4 hours. Plus a Stone Cold American Lager, which we didn't set out, which we should have. Damn it. But I think, unfortunately, the women's U.S. title and Intercontinental titles have now debuted, and Bianca didn't get a chance to work her way through that. But Bianca, again, I'm going to hang 10 toes on this. I think she has a right to claim or the ability to be the first Grand Slam women's champion.
I can see that. I think
it'll take time.
It will. But I would like, I don't know, did we talk earlier already about the major return in the women's Royal Rumble? For me.
No, not yet.
Okay. So we'll talk about that in a minute then.
Sure.
I think that if we were to get a Becky Lynch return, that would be fantastic. And I think, honestly, now that we've got the women's IC and the women's US,
sure,
I think Becky is the one. Not to say that she needs it for her career,
sure,
but at the end of the day, I think Becky is the one who deserves it first. And because let's talk about this. And
sure.
Charlotte Flair, hands down, she's going to be the Grand Slam champion. She's got the NXT belt. She's got both. Well, she hasn't had the world champ, but she's had the Raw and SmackDown. So
she had the Divas, the Raw, the SmackDown.
But now, okay, are we going to consider the WHC, the women's WHC, or the women's world champion? Are we making that take place of the Raw women's champion? So
that's,
you know what I mean.
So without getting into the weeds on it, just simplicity's sakes of Raw and SmackDown,
because Becky's had Raw, SmackDown, and
NXT,
but she's also had the World Championship. So she lost it to Rhea at WrestleMania. So are we using that as part of that accolade, or is having the Raw and SmackDown championships good enough?
Well, so I mean,
this is just an opinion based.
Sure. I mean, again, without reaching for that, right? Like, I would say leave it at the Raw and SmackDown championships, because again, now you have the Intercontinental and U.S. Women's Championships, both representing those shows. I don't want to throw NXT in there because I don't think that's fair, because, again, not taking away from NXT. But
I mean, it was an important enough title for Becky and Charlotte to both go after.
Sure, don't disagree, right? But then you got to take away every Grand Slam champion.
Well, I mean, Bayley's had it.
No, I'm talking about men's side.
Men's side? Okay, yeah, because I guess you've got the North American Championship, and then you've got...
Well, I mean, who's the Grand Slam champion that's held the NXT Championship?
Would that not be KO? No, because he hasn't had the...
No, he had... So him and Seth? So you know what I'm saying? Like, you take out all the great... That's why I said... And for what it's worth, WWE, I think, is still trying to make that distinction between... And they announced Evolve.
Okay, I'm sorry to hate to interrupt, but Nicole just says...
She looks like a dude. I respectfully disagree. Anyway, we'll elaborate that on later.
Yeah.
But again, my point behind that being... WWE's making the distinction between the main roster and NXT, and now they have Evolve, and now they have the Legends and Future Greats. So they're trying to make distinctions. So I think that's where that should be separated for that reason. And I don't disagree that Becky could do it, but kind of to that point, Becky doesn't need it. I don't think Bianca does either. But at the same time, right, like, when I say Becky doesn't need it versus Bianca doesn't need it,
that's a different conversation.
It's the fact of, I think Becky is becoming the first women's attraction. Well, I don't want to say first, but like...
I mean, she's honestly on... Roman Reigns level for the women.
Yeah, and that's
So
well, again, and normally when I say the word attraction in the modern times, that's a little bit of a dig because of Roman Reigns, because of Brock Lesnar never defending the titles and all that. But again, right?
I guess
I guess what I'm trying to say is Bianca would be the most believable and easily supportable one to kind of do that. The Miz, we talked about the Miz being the utility player and what he is, right? If the the women's U.S. championship starts falling, you could take Bianca and throw her in there and make her chase it and capture it and bring it prestige. Same thing with the Intercontinental. If the women's WHC or women's heavyweight championship is slacking, you could take Bianca and she will bring eyeballs and the ability to elevate that title.
No.
Not that Becky couldn't, but to the point when Becky went back down to NXT, that was to help NXT.
Yeah.
I don't need Becky Lynch to go down. I don't need the attraction to go back down for a mid-card title to bring it back up.
Right.
I want the attraction to be the attraction. I don't want the attraction to show up with that mid-card title and only show up once a month. I want that championship to decide.
No, that's the workhorse championship,
Sure.
right? Whenever we talked about this last week, you had the Miz. But when you had John Cena with the U.S. Open Challenge, and he was there every week.
Yes.
That's the situation those mid-cards need to be.
Yes.
So if you get a Becky Lynch or you get a Charlotte Flair.
And they do an open challenge, I'll buy that for a nickel.
Run with it. But you also
I just don't think Becky will commit to that.
Not now.
I think
2 years ago, yes.
Sure.
But
Oh yeah. Like that NXT run. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Moving along here. We get Miz versus Andrade. Ironically, we were just talking about the Miz standard data match. I wasn't hanging on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
If I needed to answer my phone, I would have answered it. But at the same time, you could put that on every week, and I don't know that it would get a lot of attention, but I think it would go shit on. No one's going to complain about watching The Miz work against Andrade.
No, dude. I mean,
or as I like to call him, Mr. Charlotte Flair. I've been calling him that for years.
Here's the deal with them. Like, they're both great in the ring. They both know what they're doing. They both know the story they need to tell, and they roll with it. And that's all the points you need to make a great show.
And that's, it filled the slot that it needed to, and Andrade picks up the win, and we proceed down the road.
Yeah.
And again, it was that quick. Yeah, here we go. You ready? We were talking about it during the show. Mm-hmm. SmackDown is now the 3-hour show.
Dude. And
they got to fill the time.
We were talking about that last night. It was 9 o'clock, and I looked at you, and I'm like, what are we doing? So, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, again, right? That's that match that filled that time card that no one will bitch about. But again, as someone who's watched it for 20 plus years, I know what you're doing, WWE. You're filling your fucking time.
Yeah.
This takes us to our Tiffy time. So Tiffany Stratton's interview. And goddamn, Candice LeRae.
Yeah.
You know what? Good for her for getting some spotlight and TV time. But
she deserves it, for one. She's done great. But that was an awkward promo. Like, she walked out and it didn't fit.
I mean, as she talked and gave it depth, it did. And then again, right, the payoff came because she was talking about how Tiffy turned on Nia, and then Nia attempted to jump Tiffy, but Tiffy jumped and Nia accidentally smushed the shit out of Candice. No disrespect to Tiffy, no disrespect to Candice. And I personally like Nia, but I don't tune in every week just to see Nia. But again, that's what happens when you have a 3-hour show and you got to fill time.
The other thing is, I think Tiffy needs to address her wardrobe.
Why?
Her wardrobe that she wore
Say
last
it ain't
night,
so.
Bro, come on. All right. If you think it's okay to...
Whoa. First of all, I'm a married man.
Married man.
Married man.
Here's the deal. when you're coming out to cut a promo,
Sure.
and half your ass is hanging out, come on, man.
So I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know about your wife, but I have looked my wife in the face, and we're again, in case you haven't noticed, I'm kind of weird. And it takes a very special lady to put up with me, especially for as many years my wife has. But my wife has told me, she's like, if I had her tits or her ass, I'd walk around in that shit too. I mean, I mean, and again, right, in this business, in the PG setting, you say that she needs to address that wardrobe, but I think you're looking at that through the lens of a father with a daughter that wants to set a good example. But let's talk about Brady and JT in the Attitude Era when there was bra and panty matches.
Okay, we can talk about that, and it's a different time. So
yeah, I mean,
was.
I hear you, but the blessing of PG, she's allowed to wear it.
Yeah. Well,
you know, and again, we don't go down these rabbit holes, but at the end of the day, oh Lord, her name just dropped out of my head. Part of PFC. Not Shayna, not Tony.
I don't know.
Let's see her plans today. So nonetheless, right, in 2025, with the introduction, or in this day and age, with the inclusion of LGBTQIA+, with the inclusion of multiple race, ethnicities, and all that, which again, it's been that way for a while, but especially nowadays, right? You know, acknowledging that there are gay couples and lesbian couples, and especially like you're in the Hall of Fame, you see girls attending with their dates. And
are you talking about the fusion, Sonya Deville?
Yeah, Sonya.
Okay.
So Sonya, you know, doing interviews with her girlfriend, or the dirt she's talking about her girlfriend, right? Like, that appeals to that demographic.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there are still 11-year-olds to 90-year-old single dudes out there, and Tiffy is checking that box.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I feel it. I do. But, again, as a champion, don't make me feel like you should be wearing a hairnet. So,
we've literally had fucking champions pose for Playboy, bro.
Again, different time.
Demographic still exists.
I got you.
I mean, again, I Mary Ben.
Yeah.
It checks the box for somebody. Anyway. Yeah, so she comes out, Candice LeRae, Nia. What I hate about that is, and we'll have to see how it pans out, but again, going into this Rumble, you know, we had the Royal Rumble, the Women's and Men's Royal Rumble, the 2 out of 3 Falls tag match, Cody KO. So, I mean, I hope that builds for something.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it helped build for the Royal Rumble. You know, I'm going to win and challenge you, hoot nanny, but, like, I don't know where that's going to go. Because for what it's worth, at this point, we've only seen Tiffany get lucky. And that's kind of, I don't know where she's fallen on the heel and face category right now, because we're all kind of behind her. But she was a dirty, low-down heel, but she turned on Nia. Was that supposed to be a double turn, or be a turn for her to face? So I'm interested to see where it goes, nonetheless.
Well, we've got 4 weeks now until Elimination Chamber to kind of let that build.
But again, Brady, the transfer portal.
I think that's over.
Is it?
I think so.
Can I get that in writing? Like,
here, right here.
The fucking college football coaches know when the fucking transfer portal is. Fans know when can we get some fucking WWE? Give me dates on the transfer portal so I know when it's done. So I mean, yeah, I love a good surprise. Unless it's, you know, someone breaking into my house in the middle of the night, then that's how you stay strapped to get clapped. But nonetheless, I'm a little agitated because if I want to tune into Monday Night Raw and watch somebody, or better yet, the one that comes right off the top of my head is Bayley.
Yeah.
You know, I tuned in to Friday Night SmackDown to watch Bayley, and she's not there. What the fuck? Maybe I didn't watch Raw because Bayley's my favorite superstar. And you know, I had to work or something came up and I didn't watch it. So now here I am going, well, what the hell? I mean, thank God. And maybe I have Hulu or whatever, and I can go back and watch.
But they're on that note, they're relying on social media. So
sure,
yeah. But you know, to that though, you know, if we were 10 and 11-year-old JK and Brady, we're watching Monday Night Raw and Thursday Night SmackDown. You know, and that's the thing. Like, for instance, there was a lot of people in the world. Like, I have a buddy that I grew up with that he didn't have cable.
Sure.
He had UPN because came over the antenna. So he could watch SmackDown, but he could never watch Raw.
Sure.
So he got all of his information, what happened on Raw, just by Michael Cole and Taz talking
doing the
about
review,
it on
yeah.
SmackDown.
Sure.
So, or you know, going to WWF.com and looking at,
Classic.
You know, on the dial-up machine. But that's the difference between now. Like, they don't expect the fans not to know, you know, up to date or not to know up to date information.
Yeah.
As it.
So I'll buy that for a nickel. So that leads us to our main event: Damian Priest and LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu, my boy Tomatonga.
Yeah.
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 God damn it. I don't know why I love that.
Hey man, it's catchy. You know, and it's doing its job. So you've got me over here saying, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just, goddamn. Again, a little bit of standard data stuff, right? Like, it was the main event, and I think it was. I'm not going to slap it automatically main event caliber, but it checked the box.
Yeah.
Damian, LA Knight win, and then Jacob Fatu jumps Damian and does dirty Jacob Fatu, which I think is what he needs to do for that character right now, and it's paying in spades. But what I kind of here's what I'm scared of, Brady. So we've watched Brock Lesnar come in and be this dominant force.
Mm-hmm.
We've watched Roman Reigns kind of do the same. You know, not necessarily a dominant force, but the attraction. That last Goldberg run, when you have regular roster superstars that are getting that, and I don't even want to say the monster label because, you know, Braun Strowman's a monster of all monsters, but he can lose a match and we somehow believe that. I worry about Jacob because he's getting this build and I love it and it's believable right now. But again, my concern is the Jacob Fatu 2 years from now, i.e. Solo Sikoa. He was a bad Mama Jamma, and now it's like, well, Solo Sikoa could lose to anyone now.
Well, he was bad because he was protecting Roman. That's the thing. But then when you put him as the main character in the story,
right? And that's what I'm getting at is, you know, thank God they've let Jacob have the microphone. Other than the "I love you, Solo," you know,
right.
Other than that, right? I love it. I love what he's doing. So I think, and I don't know. Again, not a hatred thing. I don't know if Jacob has that in him to protect that character, right? Because how long can he go being this badass that can get hit with a steel chair and no sell it? How long before we start going, okay, Jacob Fatu's about to lose to, no offense to him, Akira's out, right? Like, you have to, there's this magical razor's edge that they're walking on with him where things have to be believable. Right. We need Jacob Fatu to lose a match here or there.
You don't want it to be what you're trying to get at, or what I'm picking up is you don't want it to be a Fiend issue.
Sure.
Where, you know, you've got the Fiend who is built up as this character who can't lose, but then gets pinned in 20 seconds by Bill Goldberg.
Say it again.
That's the issue that you're leading into. So, or, you know, a Fiend that's having a Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins and then fucking has a DQ because he gets hit with a sledgehammer. Like, you know, that's...
Yeah, that's you know, and I just find it they need to make sure they sustain this. And again, Solo's a prime example. We went from Roman Reigns, and Solo became the new tribal chief or whatever. And then it's like, this dude went from standing tall with everyone to being running scared.
Yeah.
And I understand that's what heels do, and that's how you generate cheap heat and get the heat. But it's like, bro, if Solo had the attitude he had a year and a half ago, he'd be unstoppable.
Right.
Whether we want to see that or not. And I hate that for those guys. So I hope that Jacob has enough. I hope he does. I hope he can see the forest through the trees. I want him to be able to lose a match against a babyface in a clean way, or a babyface take to the max to beat him, and it doesn't degrade that character. Both characters, I guess I should say. So I don't know, but that wraps SmackDown. SmackDown took Raw this week, even though it was 3 hours, and we talked about the places where it dragged. Sorry. Again, Royal Rumble 2002. Here comes Billy Gunn of Billy and Chuck.
You look so good to me, bro.
I hate you.
Oh, man.
I hate you. I'm too sober for this.
I think, so SmackDown's wrapped up.
Yep.
We have a few other things we want to talk about, discuss.
Not only that, we're going to drag on just for a second.
But what I was going to catch before we drag on is, why don't we, top up our beverages?
Oh, man, episode 3 is getting wild. Brady's trying to get me drunk.
So
this is where, if there's any kind people out there, and I wish I could put the Sarah McLachlan in the Arms of Angels tune on. If you want to support two poor boys doing a wrestling podcast, please feel free to sponsor us.
Hey, we are twinning and wearing some
Stone Cold El Segundo Broken Skull American Lager. The same event where we met Stone Cold Steve Austin that we've alluded to. But yeah, man, as you can see here, this is my glass because Brady's at my house because he's a bum. Reach out to him, let him know we're here supporting, spreading the good word, right?
yeah, man.
But yeah, this is going to be where, in the Arms of Angel, just for one sponsorship, we would include your plug right here. So we're going to top up some beverages, and we'll be right back, folks. Hit it.
All right, man. We are back here. We are topped off, and we're ready to roll. So
yep. So coming off the closure of SmackDown, I got something that I was going to bring up last week, and I saved it for this week. Let's have a real talk. In 2025, and Paul Heyman's alluded to it, is it time for WWE as an entity, as superstars, as actors, sports entertainment, or athletes, whatever, is it time for them to start earning TV award accolades?
I don't see why not, because they are doing just as much acting without cutscenes.
Respectfully disagree. They are doing more.
No. No, I get you. But let me finish.
Sure.
They're doing as much acting without cutscenes, without being able to fumble,
Sure.
without
Sure.
the, hey man, let's redo.
Yep.
All right. And they're doing it live
Mm-hmm.
on television, network television, doing it live on Netflix.
Sure.
They get one shot.
Yep.
You're sitting there asking me if they're going to get TV star accolades. TV star is somebody who can go in there and take 30 cuts to make
Sure.
one 10-second
Say it
scene.
again.
So do I feel like they deserve every bit of acknowledgement? Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is WWE wrestling as a whole.
Yep.
It is and you can disagree, agree, doesn't matter. This is the male soap opera, live and in living color, and it's something that we are attached to. And
sorry to cut you off, but the idea of it being a male soap opera is done. You can't tell me with Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair,
right.
Bro, it's out there for everybody now.
It is out there for everybody. But I guess what I was alluding to was you've got the soap operas out there,
Sure.
right? You've got Days of Our Lives, you've got General Hospital,
Sure.
you've got all that stuff.
Yep.
People like you and me aren't tuning in to that.
1,000%.
Okay, we are tuning into this.
Yep.
Three times a week, and then 3 times a week on a pay-per-view, or sorry, PLE. But
Raw, NXT, SmackDown, main event, Evolve.
And if you're watching any of the other like A&E, like the new, Future Legends, that new show they're coming out with. So yes, absolutely. Do I feel like that they deserve every bit of accolade that just a basic TV actor deserves? Absolutely.
And
if not more.
It goes back to even the producers, Triple H, Paul Levesque, whoever, right? Like, you watch any TV show, and there's breaks, there's season finales, and Raw and SmackDown have done those in the past. But it's like sometimes it's not a true finale or opening because you get the weekly episodic television.
So here's the deal: you've got your season finale, but then you've also got you and I were at the season premiere of Monday Night Raw.
Hell yeah, we were.
That was awesome. Do I feel like Monday Night Raw is elevated because it was a season premiere? No, I don't.
But again, in the trade-off though, we get the Raw after Mania.
Yeah, for sure.
We get the Raw after the Big Four, the SmackDown after the Big Four. Again, right? Like I just, and again, I'm not in tune enough with pop culture to know what all the awards and different accolades are, and I don't watch them certainly, but never once have I seen that.
So, but you, as a kid, I remember being, 15, 16 years old, seeing John Cena being on the Kids' Choice Awards for Nickelodeon.
Sure.
Okay, so there were those things that happened.
Yeah.
But it's not. I guess it's not the same as what is the TV show awards? The Golden Globes, or is that movies?
Whatever it is.
Whatever. You don't see.
Right.
Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns or Becky Lynch up there.
Well, you're not going to see Roman Reigns because he's part-time anyway.
Okay.
That's only for full-time employees.
Yeah. You're not going to... You're not going to see...
Look at the computer gave us a thumbs up.
It knows. You're not going to see Finn Balor, or you're not going to see Liv, getting these accolades on these award shows. Do I think that needs to change? Absolutely. I think that that's something that should. But on the flip side of that, Maven. On the flip side of that, there's still that stigma with wrestling, right?
Sure.
And I have to correct the people that try to, even bust my balls to this day. Like, why do you watch wrestling?
That's we talked about that. But again, right? Like
it's a thing. Like you've got to look at it with that aspect too. Is the people that are doing these awards don't see wrestling in the way that we see wrestling?
Well, and again, I'm 1,000% going to claim ignorance. This was just a question that came into my head and I thought about. It's the same people that will crush us or jump us about wrestling being fake are the same ones, like you said, watching these award-winning TV shows. And I'm not taking nothing away from those shows, right? But it's...
Well, you kind of... Let's just talk one show that Nicole and I talked or watched forever. We watched Grey's Anatomy.
Sure.
All right. Just knowing some of the people I know, you know that 90% of everything that's happening in Grey's Anatomy is just fluff. It's BS. That's not how shit works. When you go and you watch Yellowstone, that's not how shit works.
Really? I didn't know that.
The breached calf doesn't get up 10 minutes after this one guy was able to pull it. Like, that just doesn't happen that way. So, but these shows are getting all these awards. Landman, the newest thing out with Billy Bob Thornton. There's so many things in that show that I've discussed with people that actually work in Midland, Texas. They're like, no chance is this real.
Sure.
Like, we're not out here battling the drug cartel. We're not out here, getting our head blown off. Like, that's something that I'm sure has happened, but that's not something they're battling with every day, right? But those shows are winning awards.
Yeah.
So you're also, you've got these guys out here that are busting their ass week in and week out, and they deserve every amount of award that Billy Bob Thornton deserves. So
yeah, and again, right, like that was my question. I don't think I have the power to advocate for it, but I think it's, and again, maybe there's a certain rule set with that because of the way WWE is classified as sports entertainment. But, you know, and I argue, you say that, but then I don't. So Charlotte Flair, I think, won at ESPY. And I'm sure that drew all kinds of ire and hate. So, I mean, I'm not here to say that it should. I'm not here to say that it shouldn't. But, I mean, I think ever since Vince McMahon came to the opening of Monday Night Raw and made the acknowledgement, and Ric Flair said, you know, when he killed kayfabe, fuck, dude, that was 20 years, 20, 25, 30 years ago. I think it's almost time. Now, again, that might ruin them for ESPYs or these other things, because I never once will say that these individuals are not athletes, right? You know, and you can hear that argument on every podcast and every biography and book.
The amount of work that they have to put in, they're 100% athletes. Like,
sure, and again, that's not even part of the conversation. It's just a matter of my automatic retort. You know, let's pretend that someone who watches soap operas, that watches Grey's Anatomy, hits us with the wrestling's fake, right? And I'm like, yeah, it sure is, but you better be glad that they don't get the same acknowledgement that your show does, because your show would have been canceled 10 years ago because my show would outdo it.
Yeah.
So that was just an interesting thought I had the other day, and I wanted to get your take on it. And I think it's something that maybe, you know, I would like to think in my future, because Paul Heyman has said it, but I really put some thought into it. And so between Paul Heyman, the wise man, the GOAT of all managers, and probably microphone talkers, you know, put out there, maybe this will gain some traction in the community, and it'll start pushing for these men and women to finally get something they deserve.
Yeah.
So that wraps our regular TV week. You know, and then we talked about, we're not going to do hard Rumble coverage because chances are, if you're a fan and you're listening to this, you watch the Rumble. But I do want to talk about the Rumble. We can't ignore it. Women's Royal Rumble with the curtain jerk opening up. Lo and behold, your girl, not this one, but the other one that Phil mentioned, Alexa Bliss came back, bro.
So excited.
Hated she didn't win. Hated she got eliminated. But let's talk about some observations that you made with her coming out.
The whole, well, I think you actually made it. The whole Fiend Forever. I love that. So the Lily doll that had the 6 in the eyeball. I think that has set the stage for her taking over the Wyatt 6. And I'm going to be candid here. I went and actually purchased the Lily doll, and I purchased the shirt.
Are you for real, bro?
For real. My daughter is a huge Alexa Bliss fan.
Good.
I showed you a photo of her when she met Alexa holding the Lily doll. And Riley was so just like starstruck when she was meeting her. She couldn't talk, and Alexa actually leaned over and said, "I love your Lily doll," and that just made her day. You know,
that's great. That's why we love them.
I know, and
but they ain't got no awards. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, no. And the thing about Alexa again is, so they did this WWE credit card thing. You know, I think I've told you about this. I actually won WrestleMania tickets, which was really fantastic. So
got
cool.
a horseshoe up his ass.
And then not a week after I won the WrestleMania tickets, I won a conversation, like a Skype call with Alexa Bliss, and I actually got to have, it was like a 5-minute one-on-one session with Alexa, and my wife was standing beside me, and I have the recording on my phone. It'd be kind of cool to upload that to the and just show everybody. But I met Alexa Bliss with my family, and then that next day I had that Skype call. And I actually said, "Hey, I actually saw you yesterday." And she was like, "Oh, yeah, I did see you yesterday." And I'm like, "Yeah, my daughter, she was so happy to see you with the Lily doll." Anyway, just cool. Like, just cool fan experience. Yep. Anyway, yeah, as soon as I saw that Lily doll, I went and checked the WWE shop, and it was there. And, of course, you know, just fan guy, and for my kiddo, I bought the shirt and I bought the Lily doll.
Sure.
So
again, because you saw the Lily doll and you saw the 6 in the eye, and we had this conversation. I think it would be absolutely phenomenal if she became the leader of the Wyatt 6, and maybe I'm wrong. Someone fact check me on this. I'm sure the internet will. To lead a major faction, and when I say major faction, right, I'm not saying that the Wyatt 6 are the top premier faction or whatever, but maybe this will get that fire under them that they had when they were first coming back.
So they needed, and this is solely my opinion, take it for what you want. They needed Alexa Bliss from the get-go, straight up. The Wyatt 6 needed Alexa to really kick that off. They fell flat very quickly. And I don't think that that's what they wanted or intended.
Sure.
But
that whole program, Bray Wyatt, God rest his soul, that whole program got hurt because of that.
It did. But now, I was really concerned that we weren't going to get the Alexa Bliss back that we needed. So now that she is back, I'm hoping that she shows up on SmackDown on Friday and she just takes the reins of Wyatt 6 and runs with it.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. And I wish them all the best. I really do. And it is good to have Alexa back. I think that will help the women's division. And again, right, going back to the earlier conversation, what a prime candidate for the Women's U.S. Championship.
Yeah.
Right?
I did read just a minute ago that the rumors are, and we don't speak in rumor and innuendo like Bruce Pritchard, but the rumors are they're going to give Alexa the push that she needs. So we'll see.
Yep.
Would I love to see the Wyatt 6 back on Raw? Yes, but SmackDown might have that. Who knows? They may have it, and we'll see on Friday night.
Yep. So again, another honorary shout out to my former future ex-wife Trish Stratus. Honey, you gave it your best shot.
Okay.
All your flowers. But let's talk about the reality of it. That didn't happen.
Okay, dude.
We'll leave that. Easy. Woosah, take another drink. Calm down. It's all right.
You should have seen the look. JT looked at me, and when 29 was out, I was like, okay, that was Nia Jax. And then Becky's coming, dude. Becky is on the way. And then we get Nikki Bella.
Boo! She's only there to chase her ex.
Nikki Bella. I'm fine. Whatever. It's cool. But I was kind of hoping there was a situation going to come into play where there was a Royal Rumble situation that was leading into WrestleMania 35. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where Carmella walked out and got injured. And then, was it Finlay walked out and said, you can't compete. And then Becky Lynch came out real quick and then said, let me in, I can go.
Yeah. And
her music hit, and then she went to win the Rumble. I was thinking maybe that might happen again. But of course, we've got fucking Nikki Bella.
But more importantly, the winner of the 2025
Dude, okay.
Royal. Put some respect on the Queen's name. Bow down.
Respect.
Woo! Charlotte Flair back in at it with her bedazzled brace and all.
We knew, though, the minute she was announced for the Rumble.
I respectfully disagree. I don't think we knew that because Alexa and Becky and again, we've already said it. I never in a million years would have assumed Jey Uso was going to win the men's.
No, that caught me off.
But so again, and it just goes to show you really don't know. I mean, a lot of people, I will tell you right now, I think a lot of people are going to be mad that she did win. But I do think, and we talked about this, we're finally going to get the Rhea versus Charlotte program we wanted.
Back from WrestleMania 36.
Here come a Godfather with a hose. Sorry. Again, another distraction.
So we were supposed to get Charlotte and Rhea at 36 in Tampa. So, and of course, COVID happened, and we still got that match, but it wasn't in front of the crowd. And then that didn't really translate to WrestleMania 37. if I can remember, because it was Rhea and Asuka. And Asuka ended up dropping the title to Rhea. So Rhea got her moment at WrestleMania 37, but it wasn't against Charlotte. So I think that this will be that big.
Sure, and again, I can't be mad at it.
No, Rhea and Charlotte they'll tear the
again.
house
I love Charlotte Flair. We could do a whole pod on who Charlotte is, what she's done, and opinions, good, bad, and indifferent on her. So I'm not going to dig into that. But again, congratulations to Charlotte for that win, and I think that's still going to put butts in seats. It's just a matter of who she picks and how we go about it.
I can't agree. I mean, I couldn't agree more. Man, Charlotte is great. She's gonna do well. Granted, she can stay healthy. You know,
I think she will now.
No more injuries. We'll see where it goes.
So after the Women's Royal Rumble, we hit DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns. 2 out of 3 falls. DIY doing typical heel thing again. Not that I wasn't paying attention. I was kind of cooking dinner, watching through the glass, but it paid the bills.
Yeah, it was a great match. And at the end of it all, you've got the Street Profits. Where the hell have they been? They show up and they end up, making sure that, DIY wins, and then they went on.
And then they whooped the shit out of DIY. So
they whooped the shit out of the Machine Guns.
Shout out to Montez Ford. That's my man's. I like he's insane, and I love it. So
I'm curious though. Are they coming back as heels, or are they coming back as the Street Profits?
Bro, every time they try and be heels, they just turn back into faces. Is B-Fab still with them?
I don't know.
So, so that's the little shit right there that's separating us, because now you're going to tune into SmackDown and watch that.
Right.
I'm not saying that's the main reason you watch, but that's one of those storylines you're going to want to follow.
Sure.
So again, those breadcrumbs really lead into it. After that, we get the Cody versus KO match. Now let me back up real quick, because I said I was going to come back to this. On Friday night, KO went down there and he reclaimed the Winged Eagle off the fucking hanger, whatever you want to call it. You're like, okay. I mean, that's not a real title anyway. That doesn't mean anything. I don't know why it was up there, but you know what? Good. We're going to have one title up there. And then they open the fucking show and Cody Rhodes is carrying his title that was still on the hanger that's supposed to be suspended above the ring.
Right. Like, what?
What did we do this whole relinquish the title angle with Shawn Michaels for?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it just, I don't know. Just another
Wait a minute. But Cody was carrying his belt like a champion.
He was. And you're starting to correct me, and it's fine.
No, I'm not correcting you.
No, you are. It's fine.
That's a professional way.
It's the professional way to do it. Like, you're not dragging your belt around. You're not just slinging it over your shoulder. Like, it's, you hold it like a champion. So I'm leaning more towards you. Okay, I get it.
Goddamn, I'm going to have you in a suit before this podcast is over. No, I hate a tie.
No. That's the thing. Is like, I am leaning more. It does look more professional. But to go back to that, the issue is that was a story that didn't see to fruition. Like, you got to have the belts suspended. They relinquished them with Shawn. KO took his belt back, and then Cody didn't. His belt was still suspended, but now he has the belt back. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't matter. I don't think it changed the story by any means, but it was
and I'll tell you, I don't think you could pick. And this is off the cuff here. This is a shoot, because I'm a smart. I don't think you could pick 2 wrestlers to have a ladder match and make it look violent and still be safe. You could pick 2 better than Cody and Kevin.
No. That was like Kevin's 10th ladder match. Cody's 5th or 6th. Like, they know what they're doing. They know the spots they can take.
Yep.
And
they push it.
Yeah. I mean, dude, the Alabama Slam through that ladder?
Correct. Alabama Slam. Like, you can't put the hard R on there. It's 2025. No hard R's, you racist.
Yeah. You do that Alabama slam right through the ladder, and KO's just, you know he's safe. You know he's okay.
But what a sell, though, just straight folded for...
Yeah, and then he was folded for 10 minutes. Just let it hang out, dude. I mean, what a dude. And then for Cody to go up there, and then that angle that they caught at the end of it all, when he's just busted open, and then you got Cody hanging onto his belt.
Cinema.
Dude.
And that's... and I'll tell you, that's one of those things that... Back to the TV awards thing. I don't know. Maybe it was planned. Maybe it was a call-in from someone in Triple H or someone in Gorilla to tell Cody to go to the table. But it's one of those things, right? Like, when we say ring awareness or ring prowess, it's putting your foot up on the rope or grabbing the rope or being self-aware. There's my man Stone Cold coming in for the 2002 Royal Rumble. But it's I was screaming. I was a kid. Oh, my God. Sorry. It was one of those things where it was almost like Cody knew that the camera was going to be at that angle to see Cody or to see KO, and he would put himself in the background. Even though the camera was focused on Kevin Owens, he was in the background. And one of the best examples of that, and I've seen it on social media a few times, is Hulk Hogan going against Triple H. When Triple H does his entrance, or back when he was competing, and he still does it, but when he was competing, all the house lights were down, and he'd get on the side of the ring, and there was a spotlight that went on him, and he'd do his water spot. Mm-hmm. Hulk Hogan's the only one. He knew where to step to get in the camera where the camera didn't focus on him, but you could see his face. You know, and he was behind Triple H with that serious look, and Cody brought that in, and KO's the same way. I think that somewhat tells more of a story than, and like you said, KO with the cell. He didn't just go through the ladder and then roll off. That dude stayed shrimped, crumpled up for 10 minutes. You know, Cody, normally we see struggling to take off or taking off both belts. Cody took the belts down one by one, which I wasn't a huge fan of. But again, like hindsight being 2020, his opponent was down and out. Yeah. To the point where he had enough time to get up, get in the ring, climb the ladder, grab not one, grab 2 titles, and say, I'm the victor. That kind of tells more than...
Yeah.
You know, and then again, going... Now, what I find interesting, I'm curious how this is going to pan out with Sammy.
Yeah, I actually mad respect for Sammy for not actually interfering.
Well, so where's this going? Is this going to be Sammy mad at Cody because Cody abused his best friend? Is this going to be KO's mad at Sammy because he didn't help him? So again, right, those crumbs, 20, 30 years of experience watching it, they've left a lot of... They may do nothing with it.
Yeah, I mean, they may move on entirely at this point.
And
that's and good. Honestly, KO and it's been a situation where KO has been in this title run since when they fought for Saturday Night Main Event 3 months ago. So maybe it's time to move on.
Sure. Well, so again, right, even though we've seen it multiple times and sometimes it can wear out, if there's anyone that can pull it off, I'll watch Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And again, we've heard superstars, wrestlers talk about on big shows, you never want to be second because you curtain jerk it, you get that reaction, and then it's like the crowd kind of gasses out, and the second match is like, ugh. KO and Sammy could be the second match that would grab me and pull me back in.
Yeah, because they're gonna fucking bring it, but that's not gonna be the second match. That's KO and Sammy are gonna be a curtain jerk, straight up. They're not.
You say that, but again, why wouldn't you? Because again, and I like to think I'm not the only one thinking about this, but if everyone and their mother knows that the second match is the worst match in theory because of these reasons, Why wouldn't you want to stack that second match?
So, well, I understand that, but generally during WrestleMania, and I've been to several, the opening of WrestleMania generally isn't a match. It's you got to do the song,
well, yeah.
And then you've got
the pomp and circumstance,
right? And then you get the host, or you get Triple H coming out, or you get something else. And then you're 15 minutes in before you even get the first match. So you get the first match, curtain jerk. So let's talk about WrestleMania 35 just for a minute. The very, very first match after Alexa Bliss came out and introduced Hulk Hogan, and they did the whole thing. You got Paul Heyman strutting his ass down to the ring, and you knew right then that Seth and Brock were going to go on first. When they did, dude, they made that crowd. They went, and they went hard.
Sure.
And they went quick.
Yeah.
So the crowd was hot and ready to roll. I can't remember what the second match is. That's the problem.
Well, but that's my argument.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those. I'm this kind of person anyway, right? Like, I look at it as a challenge. First of all, no shade to anyone making it to WrestleMania, right? Like, I'm not hating on that. But again, right? Like, one of my favorite things is, like, if you get handed a turd, you make a turd sandwich. So at least you can eat it, right? Like, so again, why wouldn't you, if you know you're going to get that bad spot, even though it's still good, why would you not want to go out? And again, from the reverse side of that, producing side of it, I don't think you should put your championship match or your whatever, but why would you not want to put, if you have to make that decision, and you have to, why would you not want to try and load it? So that way, again, because I went to WrestleMania 27, my first WrestleMania, and let's face it, that was one of the worst WrestleManias in history, and I've accepted that. But why wouldn't, knowing this information, why wouldn't you want to change that stigma?
No, and I'm 100% with you on that.
And I think in lieu of, and again, it almost sounds like an insult by saying intentionally give them that spot. But at the same time, if you are the leader in the back, if you're Triple H, and you grab Sammy and KO and you go, you guys are the only people that can fill this spot the right way. This is not an insult. We're putting the weight. Like, don't look at it as we're downgrading. You look at it as we're putting the weight of this show on your shoulders. Nothing against the third show guys, but make the third show the one that everyone drags now, and let them go.
Yeah, and then Sammy and KO are the ones that can elevate that.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm 100% with you there.
So, men's Royal Rumble. Yeet! I love it. Huge curve. And like I said, the only surprise was what's his name entering? Speed entering.
Oh yeah. Because Tozawa,
got injured. So no real big surprises. Good spot, good little comedic relief, like you called it. But as we alluded to earlier, this is one of the most star-studded.
God, dude.
And again, I mean, at one point, John Cena, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Braun. I mean, you had all these
Seth Rollins,
pipe hitters, fucking Grand Slam hitters in this match at the same time
for like 15 minutes. Like they were all in there for a significant amount of time.
You did have me worried at one point when they showed, and you're like, God damn it, they got a counter on Roman. Roman was in there for 4 minutes. I'm like, but yeah, and like I said, I don't know where this would rank in the top Rumble matches, but I will say that I enjoyed it. And again, I love a good curveball, and congratulations again, and super happy for main event Jey Uso.
He deserves it, and I really hope that he goes to WrestleMania and gets his moment. Just this, if we're gonna do it, let's just make it happen now, and I'm not saying that we can move on, but Do I feel like he's going to have a title run like Gunther or like Roman? No, I don't. I feel like he's going to go and he's going to have that title, and I think it's going to be a transitional situation. Okay.
Sure.
So,
to that point though, my assumption is, Monday night we will get his official announcement, but he's already alluded to he's going for Gunther.
Yeah.
So that means the Elimination Chamber will be set up for Cody.
So, yeah, and I kind of took a little bit of notes for that here. So, we talked about the Royal Rumble, the post-show. So, I was sitting here watching it, and you guys were cleaning or something. John Cena came up, and he says, I'm not taking any questions. I'm making a statement, and this is my statement. My statement is, I don't do anything that I don't feel isn't deserved. And I don't feel that, I'm taking anybody's spot, essentially. He's like, I've been working my ass off for the WWE for 20 years at this point, and now it's my time, and I feel like it's deserved. So I'm going to be at the Elimination Chamber. I'm competing in the Elimination Chamber, and I'm going to go to WrestleMania, and I'm going to get my 17th championship. And he said, that's all, folks. Got up and walked off.
I am not mad if John Cena wants to go to WrestleMania. I don't know that I would be so mad if John Cena made it to WrestleMania. However, right now, I am telling you, we watched and listened. John Cena dragged Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson through the mud for running off and doing his thing. And he has sensed, he's eaten a lot of crow since then.
Oh, he's been humbled.
But my thing about that is he can say what he wants to, but if he wants to be in an Elimination Chamber, I don't give a shit who you are. You need to earn your spot.
Well,
he better show his ass up.
He's not. That's the other thing he said. He said that I'm giving these guys a month to talk all their shit. I will be there at the Elimination Chamber. So what that told me, and what should have told everyone else listening, is John Cena is not going to be in the build for the Elimination Chamber. He's already claimed his one of 6 spots.
I will tell you right now, I hate that. Period. Point blank, end of mission. Like it doesn't matter.
There's qualifying matches for a reason.
Sure. And I think John should have, and again, it's the John Cena retirement tour, and you've said this all night and all weekend. If it's your retirement tour and you're committed, you start showing the fuck up.
He said that he's leaving now, going back to Hungary
to finish
his movie, and he'll be back in Toronto on March 1st to do the Elimination Chamber. Which it sucks. It bothers me. It makes it feel like this whole situation where he had this retirement tour, he made it seem like he was going to be here with us, and he was going to ride it, and he's not. He's been here twice, and I mean, I get it. We're only in the second month of the year. Today's February 1st.
Sure.
Understood. We got him on January 6th for a 10-second promo.
It was long enough, but yeah.
And then we also got him tonight, and he did what he's going to do at the Royal Rumble. He didn't win, fine. But now he is leaving again for a whole month, with no build, and he's already claimed a spot in the Elimination Chamber. Well, sorry, man, but in the men's chamber, you've got 5 other guys that are going to have to qualify to go for Cody. And you're going to have Roman, you're going to have Seth, you're going to have Punk, you're going to have Sammy.
Are we?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
You just named all Raw superstars.
No, I know.
For Roman.
But what I'm getting at here is, like, you've got all these people that are already there every week. So, come on, man.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, maybe that's the call out for it. And in all fairness, I'll give John his credit. He only needs one match to win. Give me a Raw or a SmackDown and let John compete on that one Raw or SmackDown. Maybe it's close to home. Maybe it's something significant to his heart where he does it. Whatever. But I mean, I just,
if you're going to commit to something, dude, commit to it. And
well, again, right? Like my thing is we're not just talking about a championship run. We are talking a record-setting 17th time. That right there in itself means, like, if he's going to do it, and he didn't win the Rumble, I want to see him struggle, right? And you know, and again, I know like in 2025 we blend the lines of kayfabe, but like remember what happened last time John Cena called a shot at WrestleMania? Undertaker whooped that ass.
Yeah.
So maybe he's going to eat a piece of humble pie.
That was at WrestleMania 34, and I was there for that, and I remember watching that live, and I'm like, holy shit! I thought we were going to get a classic 15-minute match. It was a 2-minute squash match, like straight up. But no, who knows?
Well, let's talk about the most important thing about John Cena. Motherfucker needs a haircut.
Yeah,
He doesn't look the same with long hair.
Well, we'll see after.
Go get you this, John. Go get it up again. Pretend like you about to get a fucking cameo in the next Marine movie starring some unknown motherfucker. But like,
we'll see after he finishes this movie. Maybe he will commit back to his character.
Sure.
Who knows? Do I feel if he was still shooting a movie, he should have been the Royal Rumble? No, I don't. I whatever, it's fine. I don't think that his appearance did anything for anybody at this point. I think they could have put someone else in his place. Do I know who? No, but there's a million other dudes out there.
Sure.
So, I mean, what's just spitball? What's a guy that hasn't been around in a minute? Randy Orton. Let's talk about
phenomenal. Randy.
All right.
Randy would have been great.
Yeah, I would have much rather had Randy in the Rumble than John Cena.
Yeah.
I would have, hell, throw some random ass celebrity in there. Like again, like for instance, we had Johnny Knoxville one year. Dude, it was ridiculous, but it was fun. You know what I mean? So do something like that. I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
So that essentially wraps up the week. But something that unintentionally became part of this podcast is the off the top rope question. So it's my week, and I'm lazy, and I didn't have one, and I thought about it. So it is now time for the off the top rope question. And speaking of random appearances and whatnot, this week's off the top rope question I have for you, good sir. What is your favorite or memorable, whether it's your first one that comes to mind or something you hold near and dear to your heart, Royal Rumble moment?
Oh my gosh. Favorite Royal Rumble moment.
And again, it doesn't have to be a great Royal moment. It's just something that when someone looks at you and says Royal Rumble, what comes to mind?
Man, there's so many. That's hard. Thanks for the challenge. That's hard. Kind of talked about that last week or the week before with the entrances. I was there, man, when 2020 came around and the buzzer hit and Edge fucking hit. Like, honestly, that probably was the highlight of all the Royal Rumbles that I have attended.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think Edge, and then I talked about this earlier in the podcast, I think the build-up to WrestleMania 35 when Becky came out and took her spot instead of Carmella.
Sure.
Those are probably my two just off the cusp answers. Old school. I think it was cool when Triple H returned. Stone Cold winning twice in a row live on pay-per-view. That's cool. But yeah, I think probably my all-time, just because I was there, was that Edge pop. And you can't beat 40,000 people just going batshit crazy because no one expected that to happen. So you got a guy who was genuinely injured, like to the point where his career ending, right? Neck fuse, the whole bit. It wasn't because he or she left because they had a baby or couldn't get a contract negotiation set up, right? It was like that was a legit.
Shut up, Phil.
Yeah. That was a legit surprise that no one in that arena saw coming. Like, so that, yeah, probably that one was my absolute top. What about you?
So again, it's not real. No, I don't know who's going to remember this, but for some odd reason, my top Royal Rumble, like when someone go, I view the world through a couple different lenses when it comes to wrestling. My thing is like when someone who's not a wrestling fan asks me questions, I think of that differently versus when someone like you or other wrestling fans ask me. So when I look, and again, if you didn't watch last week's podcast, my potentially career canceling answers to my unexpected or unrealistic but could happen Royal Rumble moments. For some reason, I'm going to continue the trend a little bit this week. Fucking Drew Carey when he entered the Royal Rumble. I know it's so random, but for some, and I don't know if it's because when I was a kid, my mom and my grandmother both loved the Drew Carey show. I used to, so my parents let me have a TV in my bedroom as a kid, and I would fall asleep watching Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
So to see Drew Carey at the Royal Rumble, and Vince McMahon let him enter, and he comes out in this weird ass tracksuit.
Yeah.
And then he tries to bribe Kane, and watching Drew Carey like step over the top rope after trying to bribe Kane. For some reason, that just sticks out in my head so much. As much as I sit here and I claim to be a wrestling fan and the Stone Colds, but for some reason, the stupid ass Drew Carey moment will forever live.
What's that guy? Here's 100. And he yeets himself out. Like, yeah, I remember.
By the hair of his chin, he shoots it right.
No, yeah, that's fantastic. I guess, to the same token, whenever I was at the 2022 Royal Rumble and you had Johnny Knoxville come out, I mean, that was just gold to me. Like, it's just...
Yeah. I think me and you... Well, I say me and you. I think there's a certain age group or generation with wrestling fans that was ruined with the Royal Rumble because there was one year where it was like all these legends and unexpected surprise entrants happen. And now it's like we want that every year, and we don't get it now. I mean, we get a little bit with Alexa.
Yeah, but it wasn't... I love that Alexa showed up. Like,
sure.
Great. But it wasn't...
Trish.
Yeah.
The women's Royal Rumble seemed to get more attention this year. And that's kind of the trend. And without, again, no disrespect or hate, but that's because the women's division doesn't have the depth that the men's does.
Well, the first women's Royal Rumble was loaded with legends. Like, you had Trish, you had Lita, you had Jacqueline, you had
Michelle McCool,
like
Mickie James.
You know, they were...
Tori Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, loaded. And then just every year that they've gone, they said tonight was the 8th women's Royal Rumble. They're using current and NXT stars. The only legend you had tonight was Trish. And can you can count Trish as a legend, yes, but last year she had a whole program with Becky. And the year before that...
She's great.
Yeah, and the year before that, she had a whole other program, you know, so... Was it not expected? Yes, but surprising? No. Like, I was super excited to see Trish come out.
Yep.
So, do I feel a little robbed that Trish, you know, got eliminated by Nia Jax? Yes, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I love the Royal Rumble. It's always one of my
It's always a
favorite
great thing.
pay-per-views.
It's the reason why it's a big four, and it'll stay forever a big four. And it is the official kickoff to the road to WrestleMania. And again, as you know, me and you are young in this venture. This is only episode 3. I'm very ecstatic that we're about to start.
Yes.
Like,
if we can get the same build hype as we got last year, dude,
sure.
it's good. It's gonna blow up, like straight up. There Monday night and Friday nights, I literally cleared my calendar because I had to watch Monday Night Raw. I had to watch SmackDown. I will admit, when WrestleMania 40 finally, you know, ended, I was gassed. I was ready. I was ready to take a little bit of a break. But when we got The Rock showing up in January, and then man, he rode that wave, and he was there.
Yep.
Like, dude, honestly, The Rock saved WrestleMania 40 in such a big way because you did get Cody winning, yes, but you got Cody getting to the level he needed to be because of The Rock.
Sure.
It wasn't because of Roman. It was because of The Rock. So, and you've got Cody finally, achieving the goal. And I want that same build this year, and I hope that they can achieve it for the men's and the women's.
I think we'll get there. I'm like I said, the sign's hung.
Yeah.
We have our winners, and we're on the road to WrestleMania with one stop being the Elimination Chamber. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't excited. Aside from our already loyal listeners that are there every week, to our potential hopeful new joins coming in and possibly coming back to watch this episode and our first episodes, right? Not only am I excited because of this, but I think us together and reaching out to other people, I think it's renewed interest, and I think it's going to be interesting and let us grow not only as wrestling fans, but in our friendship, because again, I've had wrestling fans, and we talked about this earlier. Chris Roach, one of your good friends, he's been one of your wrestling buddies for a long time, and then I come along, and I think that this will not only make us more interested, more invested, but it's going to help us, and that comes back to the kind of the theme that we've talked about since episode 1 is, and I didn't want to steal their gimmick, but people coming together through wrestling. And, and this now ties back to what I asked you earlier. What friggin' TV show does this?
Yeah. There's no podcast for Grey's Anatomy. People aren't.
There might be. I'm not, and we're not hating.
No.
We're not hating.
That wasn't what I meant.
Yeah.
You're not traveling to someone's home and recording a 3.5 hour long podcast over Grey's Anatomy.
Sure.
Right. And you can't have these conversations over an weekly episodic show that ends in 10 weeks. Right. Yep. This is a year long, every year for the last 30 years commitment that we've made, and we're doing something with it, and that's fantastic. We met at WrestleMania 38, and we've been attached at the hip, no puns intended, this whole time, and it's getting to the point now where we're talking more and more on the phone on SmackDown. We're on video. We're doing everything we can to make sure we're staying connected so we can talk about it for everybody else. So, dude, it's been great, and at the end of the day, if this podcast succeeds, if it fails, it doesn't matter because it's brought you and I together.
Sure.
And it's made our bond stronger, and I think that regardless, this is just going to be something you and I have.
Yep.
And I appreciate the hell out of that. So me being able to come to your home, you come to my home, we record through, Google Meets or whatever we do. It's something that I'm going to, not to be sappy, but cherish. Like, man, this is great. Like, you can't beat that.
No, 100%. So that's a pretty damn high note, and I think that's where we're going to call it for this week. So, again, everyone who's tuned in this far, episode 3 coming at you. We're excited to get back to episode 4. We are on the road to WrestleMania. So, again, quick shout out to our socials. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. I know you're already here with us on YouTube, and we're going to try and expand this as much as possible. Please send us some correspondence. We have an email, knowgimmicks@gmail.com. Hit us up in the comments. If there's something you want us to address, we'll address it. If you disagree with our opinions, let us know.
Yep.
We'll be sure to comment and get back to you. Again, we're just a couple of dudes living our best lives through wrestling as a tag team. And if nothing else, let's make it a faction. Here it is right now. Next WrestleMania, I would love nothing more than to take this live. Again, before WrestleMania, so that way people can tune in or whatever. The night before, day of. The Know Gimmicks faction. I want the Know Gimmicks faction at next, not this coming WrestleMania.
But the next.
So, was it
42.
For WrestleMania 42, I want the No Gimmicks faction together. We're somewhere on a live stream taking questions, arguing, bickering, telling funny-ass stories and jokes. So again, thank you to our loyal listeners. Thank you to the WWE. Congratulations to Yeet Main event, Jey Uso and woo, the Queen Charlotte Flair on your Wednesday night. We're excited for WrestleMania. We'll catch y'all down the road. I'm JT. He's Brady. Holla, holla.